chat. How are we doing today? Particularly by me, I mean you. How are y'all doing today? Welcome to the show because we got a lot to talk about. Welcome on your way in. Do not forget to get the likes up, please. Guys in the chat, I see y'all in there. LTTV, shout out to the moderator, shout out to Vega. Welcome to the show because we are going to be talking about it today. And what is it are we going to be talking about? We're going to be talking about Rumble. Yes, the YouTube rejects. I mean, at least the platform where all the YouTube rejects go. The people who complain the most about censorship and cancel culture and how, the Matrix wants to use all of these other social media platforms to go ahead and control the narrative. So in order for you to get out of the Matrix, how about you hop on this other social media platform that has a horrible discovery options and horrible just metrics overall? All right, just join that so then you can disseminate your information, right? So again, we're talking about the platform Rumble. Now, there's a lot of things we got to break down here today, folks, because this is a culmination of a lot of things happening, okay? We call it a convergence, if you will, all right? So here's what we have. Now, we have all of these people who have been canceled, okay? These, and most of them you could say they're on the right side of things. Now, before we even dive deep into this, some of you are going to say, "Oh, listen, dude, is this about to be political?" Yeah, absolutely, right. And it's not because we want to make it so. It's because that's the new grift now. I think you guys need to understand where the grift is right now. You understand that the convergence, they have officially aligned themselves on the political ideologies. And what does that mean? The anti-LGBTQ talking points, the abortion talking points, a lot of these stuff that a lot of the right hangs on to that are pretty crazy, and I don't think they should be focused on right now. That is what the Redpill has made their fighting point. Okay, now the one disagreement, at least the fault line you can call it, is when you talk about the Redpill and how they deal with women versus conservatives and how they want to deal with their women. Now, if you peel back the curtains on a lot of these so-called conservatives here, it's no different. They both want women back in the house. They both want less rights for women. And at the end of the day, that's where they agree with, but they just don't agree publicly in a way Fresh and Fit would describe how men should treat women, right? Especially on the promiscuous side of things, because one of Myron's tenets is, as a young man, you got to sleep with over 50 women in order to understand a good girl from a bad girl. Huh? What the who brainstorms this shit, right? You guys just sitting here just thinking about all pseudo intellectual motivational bullshit to just spew out to your fans. Like, oh, what are we talking about here? Who in the right mind came up with that? So again, that's what a lot of conservatives will disagree with the Red Pill. I think another talking point would be Rollo's side of the Red Pill too. His faction of Red Pill that doesn't believe that men should reproduce. And what I mean by that is he thinks all men in their 20s should go ahead and get vasectomies if they want to be high value males. So you can see already there's certain tenets and talking points that the overall right wouldn't agree when it comes to the manosphere. But overall, when it comes to women not voting, women getting back in the house, all right, when it comes to society going back in the day where we were a lot more repressed and living this whole, Anglo-Saxon, Judeo-Christian values or a type of state we were in back then, that's where they want to drag us into. Now, for a while, you've been hearing the guys like Candace Owens, okay, in her support of Andrew Tate, which is surprising because for the longest time she has railed herself to be the person of free speech that a lot of people on the right should be taking seriously. But recently this year, after we've seen how she was willing to just capitulate to Andrew Tate. Not only that, participate in victim shaming the woman who's also the alleged victim of Andrew Tate and various other pedos. I just find it very interesting the shit fucks that high up, all right? Even guys like Tucker Carlson, you got... I really don't want to mention this guy, but it is what it is. Alex Jones, if he's that important, all right, he's over there making a comparison of Tate being like Trump, which is I find ridiculous. I don't even think that's a comparison you want to make. But there you go. Even the fact that Alex Jones is making that comparison, someone who's I almost jumped the gun, who's soon to be convicted trafficker, okay, the right is propping up as the savior of masculinity. right? The savior of young men, right? As a matter of fact, you can even have Patrick Bet go as far as to say that Andrew Tate is right for young men. Young men should be listening to men like Andrew Tate. So again, what is it? How are these guys even able to spread these kind of messaging, right? I thought they were kicked off of YouTube. Listen, YouTube not going to do shit in terms of stopping their power. Listen, okay, the best YouTube can do is shut them down, but Andrew Tate came up with a marketing strategy so, I guess, ingenious, you can call it. He got these other tater tot stooges to do the to do the marketing for him on YouTube. So he actually technically doesn't have to have a channel for you to consider him successful on YouTube, right? He just has to do his thing. But his main platform is indeed on Rumble. All right, now pay attention to this platform. I mean, we all have, but not as closely as we ought to be, okay? Now, Rumble's been going through a lot of scandalous situations. For instance, they've been known as the platform to absorb a lot of YouTube rejects, okay? You got the Nick Fuentes, you got the Sneakos, okay? The shit just gets worse from there, all right? Not only that, you got guys like Sneako who, I don't know if they're actually contractually obligated to actively recruit some of these rejects onto the platform Rumble, but you see that with the advent of Sneako, with the advent of what's his face, Aiden Ross, all those guys coming in, they're bringing a lot of these dysfunctional people onto Rumble. So Rumble is quickly building that reputation of the platform where, you know, you're probably going to get some real toxic shit when you get into that, right? And I don't know if Rumble in the future is going to want to change from that type of mentality or how they steer their business, but the platform right now is filled with a bunch of people who hate the people of the book. All right, they not only hate them, okay, they also don't like a lot of the the LGBTQ and certain things like that, and that's what they promote over there. Now here's the crazy thing: how much of what we see on Rumble is actually real? Now, some of you are saying, Duke, what are you talking about? What do you mean? I mean, you see Sneako's views. He's getting the views over there, and he's got the kids in this comment section. You know, they're saying L and W's and whatever the fuck, right? So what do you mean? What does that question mean? Well, the reason why I ask, okay, even just moving Sneako aside, because we all know Sneako is the ultimate bot in existence right now, okay? Even his Twitter is probably filled with the same type of bots that possibly it could be populating Rumble right now. But the reason why I ask is because now a bunch of people are asking questions. What is going on over there at Rumble? How are these people who were seemingly either ran decent to good platforms, all right, all of a sudden are hitting these ridiculous, monumental levels of fame? Right? It's like people are just like getting all like worked up now because they're saying, whoa, hold up. You got a guy like Sneako who could barely do maybe 5,000 people if he was going live on YouTube. Okay. He goes on Rumble and can do 20,000, do 100,000. Wait a minute. Something's not right. Wait a minute. He does a hot tub stream, gets 100,000 views, but if he does those same kind of numbers on YouTube, don't make sense. The same thing with Fresh and Fit. All right. You're going to have to ask that question of Fresh and Fit because actually the reason why people are now asking this question about Rumble is because of somebody you might not even really understand why it relates to this, but you will in a second, right? It's Steven Crowder, okay? And he relates to this because he actually has officially green-lighted Fresh and Fit to join the conservative movement, okay? Now they're officially in that space because we got Andrew Tate being sucked into the bubble, all right? That's the higher echelon of fame, okay? Now you're dealing with the backbone of the Redpill, which is Fresh and Fit's channel. No matter how much people hate on them, it is what it is, right? They are the backbone of the Redpill channel, like the Redpill movement. Okay, they would have to fall for the Redpill movement to die because as long as that platform exists, a bunch of weirdos like Zerkas will be getting pretty much shotgun out there in terms of fame and notoriety and whatnot through their platform. Okay, so now that we've witnessed the official consolidation of their platform to the conservative space, the crazy conservative space, it's a wrap. Now, a lot of people are getting on Steven Crowder because they're starting to realize, hey, dog, you're getting people on Rumble because y'all know Steven Crowder. Where do we leave off with Steven Crowder? Him being a good husband. When we saw the tape of how he was treating his wife when she was pregnant, she was out there stressed out, crying, and he was trying to make her walk the dog, which was crazy. Like, you don't love me unless you walk this dog. Nigga, what? Again, hey, y'all conservative women, y'all need to know what y'all getting into with these conservative dudes, okay? Because I swear to y'all, they don't like you. they want to talk about how much they love women, but the way they treat women behind closed doors, I swear to y'all, ladies, they don't like you. And this is why a lot of conservative women end up turn out to be liberal, which is crazy. They end up divorcing their conservative husbands, and then they become liberal, right? Because it's mess like Steven Crowder. But after that whole divorce, and Candace Owens, who's also part of that whole red pill cabal now, basically exposed his ass. And I think, which is crazy because she's got a bunch of skeletons now in her closet. And if I was Steven Crowder, I would use the fact that she interviewed Andrew Tate against her. But Steven Crowder probably can't do that because he interviewed Fresh and Fit. So, like, how you gonna criticize Candace Owens? Meanwhile, you over here sitting down, with Fresh and Fit. Like, what's wrong with y'all? That's crazy. But Candace Owens left Steven Crowder in the mud. He was kind of down and out, going out. He kind of receded away from the limelight to deal with the whole divorce debacle, right? He even tried to do a mini comeback at the time by sort of blaming Candace Owens for airing him out in his old condition and whatnot with his divorce. So that was weird. So we didn't hear much about Steven Crowder until recently when he came back. About a couple, was it months or it's a while. He recently came back. Okay. From the whole controversy. And it seems like he came back with a little bit of a twist, okay? Because ever since he came back, he's no longer Team YouTube no more. No more Team YouTube. No, now he's promoting Rumble. He's promoting Rumble 100%, right? And some are saying, yeah, he got a deal. He got a really lucrative deal with Rumble, and now they're paying him to basically promote a lot of stuff. And matter of fact, we actually caught wind of this because we reacted to the video of Steven Crowder having Fresh and Fit on. For those of you guys who don't know, go check it out. I think it's in the channel somewhere. All right, it's somewhere around here. But we reacted to that video, and one thing Steven Crowder was doing that was kind of weird is he was unapologetically promoting the hell out of Rumble, right? While on YouTube. And this is the strategy we've noticed other content creators, particularly ones you notice that take a huge hit, especially on YouTube career-wise, and then they start to make that shift over to, the default platform, Rumble for losers, right? That's what they start doing. They start getting a bunch of the YouTubers who usually follow them on YouTube to then join them up on Rumble. And this is where a lot of the controversy is coming from, because we see the numbers these people are doing on YouTube, right? Think about it. If I go to a new platform, chat, let's just be honest about this. If I go from this platform and I go to Rumble and I say, y'all need to follow me and join up, right? Chances are, because I'm not part of the big deal, getting the big $1 million deal Rumble's handing out, all right? I don't want it. It's fine. Listen, if I went on there and said, guys, you need to go ahead and subscribe to Rumble. All right, let's get it going. Yeah, some of you guys would take the effort. Some of you guys who already have Rumble accounts would take the effort to go ahead and join up a Rumble and then subscribe to me there, right? I don't expect my numbers, okay, to outdo what I'm already doing here on YouTube. Matter of fact, I expect my Rumble numbers to be a lot lower on Rumble than it would be on YouTube because, again, I'm new to that platform. And realistically, because their discovery is shit, meaning how other people would locate your videos, right? YouTube has, like, the algorithm is awesome for that, right? They have the recommended tabs and things like that. Rumble sucks. Even the way they're it's a cheap knockoff of the cheap imitation of the real deal, which is YouTube. I mean, that's essentially what they're trying to do. So Rumble's got a lot of issues there, right? So tell me why, if we got guys who are doing, good, decent numbers on YouTube, all of a sudden jump to Rumble, a brand new platform they're in, and all of a sudden their views are going from maybe 8,000 people watching them live on YouTube to then 20,000 people on Rumble. And then it just keeps getting crazier and crazier, right? And it's like, wait, how does that work? You guys are telling your audience from YouTube to join up a Rumble. It doesn't, unless Rumble already has like an established base of people which are super engaging, right? And some people say, well, they have over 75 million users. How do you even know that? How do you even know that's true? How do you know that's anything like that, right? But so all those 75 million people just sitting there waiting for any rando who just recently get contracted to Rumble just to post, and they're instantly getting way more views than the platform they built on. Make it make sense. And that's what people are questioning about Steven Crowder. But now indirectly, a lot of these red pillars, they're looking back and saying, wait a minute, guys, how are you getting more views on a shit platform where you have to get people on over to that platform in order for you to start seeing some massive success, right? How do y'all doing that? And then Steven Crowder busted wide open. Not like he's not already used to doing that, but in this case with Rumble, he did it because his Rumble ratio is out of this freaking world. It's just exposing. Okay, it's very, very telling. Like, you can look at it and say, yeah, bro, that's a problem. And guys, we on this channel touched upon this in relation to Sneeko. Now, we didn't really go with Fresh and Fit or some of these other Red Pill guys who also have Rumble accounts or who are seeking Rumble deals. We didn't really dive into them. We kind of focused on Sneeko. Y'all remember that episode where we were reacting to a video of Sneeko? I don't know which one. We've done a lot at this point. He's been such a menace. It's not even funny, right? But there was one we're reacting to, and we were looking at it, and the numbers weren't making any sense, right? You got 200,000 views, but 20 people commented. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. Yo, chat, remember that? I was having a brain aneurysm. That was a moment I really needed somebody to tell me I need to endure. I needed somebody to tell me that because I was losing my mind. Matter of fact, we're going to double back and check it. But y'all remember when we were looking through the stats on Sneeko's account and we're saying, okay, wait, I don't even care about the content he's putting out right now. Where are these people? Wait a minute. How do you get 100,000 views? 15 people commenting. How do you get 200,000 views? 100 likes. None of that shit's making any sense, right? Your metric, it almost resembles the metrics of a fake account, right? You know, you go to Instagram and you're scrolling through and you see a model out there with like over 200,000 subscribers. You're like, all right, cool. She probably got some. You click on the photo, it's like 35 likes. Y'all ever had that situation? That's what was happening. And at the time, I only limited it to Sneeko because I thought Sneeko was like the de facto spokesperson for Rumble. I mean, you see the way he was actually promoting Rumble heavy. You would think he was a de facto spokesperson. So I actually initially thought that Rumble was giving Sneeko a weird, like, unfavorable advantage just to have him promote the site to, you know, guys like Fuzi, Neon, and some of these other people too as well, right? I was wrong. I think Rumble is doing this for a lot of these top people, top conservative and Red Pill content creators. They're recruiting to their platform. Matter of fact, the video that we're going to react today, we're going to react to two. One of them thoroughly exposes Steven Crowder. But not only that, it thoroughly exposes like how like a lot of these guys, right wingers, it's almost like they're building another matrix just using Rumble, right? While trying to shit on YouTube. But the problem is because Rumble is so shit and their tools are so shit, right? They have to use YouTube as a promotional arm to go ahead and get people to use Rumble, right? It's almost like this parasitic relationship that they're having. So let's go ahead and get to this video because it is just interesting and it opens up a lot of eyes because, yo, chat, I ain't gonna hold y'all. They're setting up a brand new matrix right underneath our noses. Okay. This is why I don't really vibe too well with cancel culture because again, a lot of these people can go underground, and what happens to the underground becomes the mainstream. All right, and we're slowly starting to witness a new digital independent, at least they want to call it, media being set up over there on Rumble. But the issue is it's being filled with a bunch of people with hate and anger towards the opposite sex or other people of different faiths. So it's very interesting. Let's go ahead and get to this video, chat. It's pretty disappointing. And also what I want to do is I pulled up the Rumble accounts. Chat, it's worse. I looked at Fresh and Fit. I was just like, Lord, no. The same thing with them too. Oh, Lord, damn. So, like, again, y'all talking about Matrix and then y'all fluffing all of your numbers. What is real? Okay, then going back to my original question, how do we know what's real with Rumble? Let's get with this video. Chat, don't forget to smash that like button and let me know if you can hear it by putting a 1 in the chat too as well.
It's not been a good year for Steven Crowder. Since signing a deal with Rumble back in March of 2023, his Rumble views had fallen considerably, dropping from averaging over 2 million views per video to less than 1 million. Crowder's reputation has taken a beating online. In the beginning of the year, there was a failed contract negotiation with the Daily Wire that went public, and it was revealed that he had made secret recordings of his conversation with Daily Wire CEO Jeremy Boring. Crowder was refusing a contract worth $50 million to produce his show for 4 years.
This is the minimum number that we thought would get the conversation started with Steven.
By the way, this was when Steven Crowder was going through that whole divorce mess, right? Where he was trying to also pin the blame on Daily Wire because they were saying Daily Wire was launching an attack on him. This was that. And then they came out and said, bruh, we offered you 50 mil. Like, what are you talking about, my guy? We offered you 50 mil to do a show on the internet. Chat, put a 1 if you take that money. Right? Let's say, okay, and put your ideologies aside for a second, okay? Let's say a news agency. Let's say it's one you really hate. I want to see where y'all mind's at, all right? Let's say it's a news agency you hate, CNN, Fox News, whatever, right? They come up to you and say, hey, listen, ma'am, sir, we will give you $50 million in a contract if you just read whatever's on a prompter, okay, and then just go about your business. Put a 1 if you take the job. God damn, I didn't even finish the question. Look at all these ones in the chat. Okay, at least we're honest. Oh shit, we got Raphael. Shout out to you for the super chat. All right, at least we're honest in here. Okay, I was gonna say. All right, so Steven Crowder, I'm sorry, bro. You trying to shit on Daily Wire. And listen, anybody in your position would have taken the money. And it's not even just like, it just shows you like even media affiliations or, you know, right or left leaning, all that shit's out the window because whether red or blue, the only color people see around here is green. Look at all the ones in the chat. It's all green, baby. 50 million. You turn it down for what? For what? Raphael Samano, shout out to you for the $10 super chat. Raphael says, once Andres and Christian Tate goes down, Candace is going to get that Steven Crowder treatment from the Daily Wire and the other conservatives. I was going to say that the previous live, but I was late. Oh, shout out to you. But you're absolutely, you might be onto something. You think they're going to cut the smoke with Candace Owens? Because I think what will be the end of Candace Owens if she does not support Trump. Right? Because you got to know a lot of these people on Daily Wire brand, they're Trump fanatics, majority of them, right? So again, that's the same thing I see with Ben Shapiro, because I don't think Ben Shapiro is going anywhere. Like, listen, he's gonna. Ben Shapiro hates Trump. He absolutely hates Trump. For those of you guys who are Ben Shapiro fans, and you're Trump fans, I hope you know he doesn't like Trump. He would rather have Ron DeSantis go ahead and take over than Trump, okay? That's just the mentality. But Ben Shapiro has to walk a fine line because the audience he's built, okay, the right-wing audience he's built, they're all a lot of times, for the most part, Trump fanatics, okay? So you even watch when Ben Shapiro talks about Trump, there's a couple of times where he's been, overly critical, but there's some times where he has to walk that fine line. I think Candace Owens is the same way because I don't think the right really even likes her. I think they like the fact that she says what they like to hear, but at the end of the day, Candace Owens is just another mouthpiece for them. The moment Candace Owens steps out of line, they're kicking her to the curb. All right. And they're probably, because, there's a whole side of the conservative space that are split right now because they don't agree with Andrew Tate and his policies. Okay. The conservative space is like this. All right. You got the people who are more, I guess you could say modern. I wouldn't say modern. Like, what's a more word for, like, they're more chilled out and less extreme. All right. You got that faction who can look at Andrew Tate and say, yeah, that guy's a weirdo. Who in the right mind would think he represents any conservative values, yet alone his brother representing Christianity? That's crazy, right? But there's another section of the conservative space, which is where Andrew Tate and Fresh and Fit, a lot of these guys are finding home. And that's the Candace Owens / Tucker Carlson side of the Red Pill. Because Tucker Carlson, some of y'all think just because he's in the suit, he's not radical. Oh, no, he's radical. He's been feeding conspiracy theories at Fox News for decades now. So you already know he's a radical dude. So he's in that category. But they are on the side where they're more of the conspiracy types, right? Where they're using COVID, they're using the January 6th event, they're using anything that they can put their hands on to then point and say, look, the left, these guys, they're trying to control you. So go ahead and leave their propaganda and join our propaganda. And you notice that's what's all happening. So again, I think what ends up happening with Candace Owens is if she deviates from that point where, Trump is king and, some of these other things, whatever. And I don't think she would. She's got no integrity or morals whatsoever. She's literally an empty husk. So, so you're not missing out on much. But if she somehow grows a pair, right, and says, you know what, maybe Trump isn't all that great. Maybe not. She's done. It's over. She's gone. She's gone. And matter of fact, that's when a lot of people are going to be like, oh, yeah, well, look what she said about Andrew Tate. Okay, we've been watching y'all. But let's continue here.
$50 million for the initial term.
All of that happened before the Rumble deal, though, so it's less likely that it had an impact on his viewership than what came next. In the midst of that whole contract controversy, it was revealed that Steven Crowder was going through a messy divorce and had been since 2021. And soon after, a video of him being verbally abusive to his wife surfaced online.
He's sick.
Watch it.
He's sick.
Watch it. Watch it.
In addition to that footage, many former staffers at Crowder's show went public with stories of behind-the-scenes tirades coming from Crowder and a tendency he had to expose his genitals to his coworkers. Even taking all those controversies to account, though, it seems a bit strange that Crowder's views would drop so dramatically. I thought it might help to take a wider look at his numbers to get a better sense of his channel's health. So that's what I did. I looked at the views for Crowder's channels on YouTube and Rumble and counted them up over the last year. In this graph here, you can see Crowder's YouTube views are in red, while his Rumble views are in green. The big change you'll notice is that Crowder goes from getting most of his views from YouTube to Rumble as soon as he signs a deal with them. It's reasonable to assume most of his audience migrated over to that platform as he was constantly pushing Rumble in his videos and on social media.
Bruh, that live he did, or that podcast he did with Fresh and Fit, he was heavily pushing Rumble. And the thing is, I never noticed that because, wait, is Steven Crowder censored on YouTube? Chat, does anyone know if YouTube levied some kind of mass censorship against Steven Crowder like they did the Fresh and Fit? Because, listen, I would expect that same level of shilling from Fresh and Fit, the Rumble shilling, right? Because they're doing that right now. They don't have YouTube partnership anymore. They're donezo, right? But from Steven Crowder, unless he got canned by YouTube after this controversy, which I didn't hear anything about, it doesn't make sense why he's pushing Rumble this hard. Unless he knows something that we don't. Like maybe the views probably aren't real. Maybe a lot of these guys know something that we don't. Maybe a lot of the things that's going on Rumble isn't real, as we're about to find out shortly. Okay, and honestly, this busts a lot of this clout shit wide open, especially for a lot of these losers out here. Okay, it busted wide open because it exposed y'all on two different fronts. One is y'all are clout demons, knowing fully well the metrics don't make sense, but you're still riding with it anyways because you're addicted to those freaking numbers. So it makes you a clout demon. On top of that, it just shows like how desperate a lot of you guys are, because there's some top-notch content creators on YouTube right now that would not even consider a Rumble deal because they're looking at it and saying, yeah, this right here is sus. It's real sus. I don't know what's going on here. Let me know if y'all can name a content creator in the chat that has also got a Rumble deal but's not really messing with them like that. I'm probably sure there's a lot, right? Let me know a name of one of them if y'all can think about it in the chat. Oh, by the way, chat, I want y'all to know y'all graduated from chat to Chat GPT. I'm going to be relying on y'all a lot, okay? So y'all no longer chat no more. Y'all are Chat GPT. So when I'm asking y'all for something, I'm for real. Like, y'all are smart. You guys are like ridiculously brilliant, and I'm grateful for that we don't have bots in here. Okay, it just shows that if you just tell the truth, all right, I think people who are like-minded will gravitate to it. So I like that aspect. So I'm relying on y'all a lot. Okay, so let me know of a content creator that turned down a deal, ChatGPT, because again, it's not making any sense.
Still, that jump is really big. Crowder hadn't cracked 2 million views in a while on YouTube, and suddenly he's soaring past that on Rumble, though it's possible as explained by Rumble promoting his content. It is a bit weird, though, considering Steven Crowder had taken a lot of time off, and that's usually really dangerous for a channel's health. One other strange difference between his YouTube channel is that his engagement is significantly lower on Rumble. Looking at a sample of roughly 6 months, the comparison of views to comments and likes or dislikes is wildly different. On YouTube, roughly 1.2% of views translate to comments. That is, a viewer has a 1.2% chance of leaving a comment every time they watch one of his videos. On
Boom! Let's continue, because this is about to get crazy.
Rumble, that number is significantly less at 0.2%.
Look at
There's also
this!
a big disparity between likes and dislikes. There's a 7% chance of a viewer on YouTube rating a video versus a 1.2% chance on Rumble.
Look at this!
These numbers aren't just true for Crowder, though. Use it a sample of 2 weeks for...
Hold up, let me pause it right there because they got a list of all these right-wingers right here. And Tim Pool, you should be ashamed of yourself, you beanie-wearing weirdo. Listen, how dare you? How dare you call yourself a truth-seeking journalist? To even put journalist at the end of your name, Tim Pool, you should call yourself the new conservative nut gobbler. I'm sorry, bro, because all you're doing is just, bro, Tim Pool, the fall from grace from this guy is ridiculous. And like, honestly, why would he even need to consider something like Rumble? Tim Pool's already getting views anyway, selling his soul on YouTube, right? So why would he need to consider Rumble unless these people know something that we don't, okay? And I'm going to show you in just a second. Charles Indick, shout out to you for the $10 super chat. He says he had 2 strikes from YouTube already. I think YouTube has the 3 strike policy. Wait a minute. But if you get striked, okay, there's a week that you go without making videos, right? And it's the same with 2 strikes. 3 strikes, they delete your channel, right? So, again, is he demonetized now? Did you guys hear anything of Steven? Like, do we know about now? Like, as of, so we reacted, when did we react to his Fresh and Fit interview? That was yesterday, right? Was that yesterday or the day before yesterday? So, as of 3 days ago, is Steven Crowder demonetized as of 3 days ago? If he is, okay, it makes sense for him to shill Rumble that hard. If he's not, right? So, I mean, he's still on YouTube, so we know he's still not, his channel's not striked. So what's going on here, right? So I appreciate that. Let me make this full screen. Look at the bottom here. Can y'all read the bottom? So you're looking at the comment sections here for a lot of these conservatives, right? Look at Steven Crowder. The comments on the bottom there, the likes versus dislikes. Look at Ben Shapiro, is the same thing. The red is YouTube. The red bar is YouTube. The green bar is Rumble, right? Here's Tim Pool's ratio. So Tim Pool gets a higher ratio of dislikes on YouTube than he would on Rumble. Same thing with comments, okay? And this is what we noticed with Sneako's channel, chat, all right? When we can bring it back to Sneako's channel, this is what we noticed. Because, chat, remember, I was hyper-focused on Sneako. I didn't realize that this was happening to everybody. Like, not even everybody that Rumble hand selects to promote their garbage. So here's the thing. This video he drops has got almost 40,000 views on it. 27 comments. I shit you not. This was 7 hours ago. Let's go to another one. 746,000 views. 466 comments. I can keep going, chat. I mean, you can even look at the one below it. 152,000 views. 70 comments. What is this? What is this? Like, chat, what is this? Like, chat, what are these numbers? I'm having that same aneurysm right now just looking at it. It don't make sense to me, bro. Like, how do you get, bro, 150,000 people are watching your shit, and you only get 70 people that are loyal enough to leave a comment? Chat, put a one if that don't make sense, because I'm trying. The math ain't mathing, bro. All right, let me continue. Look at another one. 146,000 views. This guy has a Rumble contract, okay? 198 comments. What is this? No, for real. What is this? What is this? we got 90,000 views here, 71 comments. So when we're looking at this chart right here, this chart is legitimate because the likes and dislikes don't make sense. The comments and non-comments don't make any sense. All right. What is going on with these people on Rumble? And honestly, here's where I'm going to throw a plot twist here. And I want y'all to answer this at the end for my guys who like the 1s and 2s, because I'm thinking that maybe Rumble is unintentionally setting up a lot of these losers for failure. And I'll explain that towards the end of this video, but let's continue.
Ben Shapiro and Tim Pool's channels, I found they had similar issues. It seems that users on Rumble are just not interested in leaving comments or liking or disliking videos. What makes it even stranger is that if Crowder's audience is migrating from YouTube to Rumble, one wonders why this audience suddenly decided they no longer have any interest in leaving comments or rating videos. Maybe
That's facts. It's like that's some bum ass followers, bro. Y'all gonna follow your fan over the your influencer over the Rumble and just stop commenting. It don't make sense. Like, people still want their voice to be heard, and you're telling me out of 150,000 people who watched that video, only 72 people thought it, cool enough to just comment? Like, that doesn't make any sense. It's like you hop on Rumble, comments disappear.
People just don't want to make Rumble accounts, and almost everyone has a Google account. All of this is just generally suspicious, and I probably wouldn't even be included it in this video if not for something else I found. Steven Crowder typically releases 4 shows a week, scheduled for 10 a.m. in the morning, Eastern Time. He's usually late to start, sometimes taking 10 minutes or so to begin the stream. This will be an important detail later on.
I know why. He's too busy putting his nuts on his coworkers.
While researching this video, I decided randomly to watch Steven Crowder's live stream of the GOP primary debate. So when I tuned in early to make sure I caught the beginning, I noticed something a bit strange. Before the stream starts, there's this little video that lasts a couple of seconds that plays on a loop. It lets you know that the stream will be starting soon. You can see people in the chat trying to get racial slurs past the filter and a few early ratings going in. This is pretty much how YouTube streams work as well, minus the little video. When I tuned into this primary debate stream, though, what caught me off guard is that in the description box, you'll notice that there is a view count for this stream. And in this footage here I captured, you'll see it currently was sitting at 138,000.
How?
I refreshed the page just to double check that the stream hadn't actually started. And you can see there that it's saying that the viewers are still waiting for it to start. And obviously,
wait, how are these metrics? Wait, whoa, I'm confused now. Wait, how is it the stream hasn't started? There's 140,000. Wait a minute. Wait, chat. What in the goddamn mess is happening here? Then what is this number? So you got 27,000 people who are waiting. Then what? Whoa. Yo, this is, the more you look into this, the weirder this gets.
And that 138,000 view figure just stayed there.
What is this? What the fuck is this? Yo! Hey, yo! Whoa! I'm so confused. Rumble, what y'all doing over there? What y'all doing over there at Rumble? Hey, Myron, is this you? Is this y'all niggas? Wow. I mean, what is it? So we got 138K. Where's the 27,000 people coming from? Yo, these numbers are not, the math don't make sense. Yo.
7,000 people waiting for the stream to start. So this raises an important question. Where did these views come from? And why are they being counted under this video before the stream even begins? Now, for those who don't know, Rumble works a lot like YouTube in that the views you see under a video aren't updated in real time. It usually takes a few minutes to see each increase. And when you look at that view count, it's really more of a snapshot in time from when there were a certain number of people who have viewed a video. The number is almost always higher when you look at it in the back end. It can be off by thousands or tens of thousands sometimes, particularly for a new video. So we shouldn't understand, for instance, this debate stream as getting 138,000 views early. We should understand it as getting 138,000 views early at least, because there were several minutes after this stat was provided that views were likely still being counted and added to the total.
I'm confused. I don't even, whoa. That still sounds like it's a scam. I'm sorry, Chad. To me, that don't sound right. The numbers don't sound right, bro. Wait a minute, like, hold on, because YouTube ain't like that. I got the analytics opened up in another screen right now. It's not like that. Matter of fact, it slowly matches. It actually matches my StreamYard numbers right now. Because on my YouTube, it hasn't updated yet, but I have 268 people watching on StreamYard. I got 265 people, so it's about to update on YouTube, right? So I don't get how you have that monumental jump on Rumble from 27,000 to over 138K. So when Fresh and Fit, when a lot of these YouTubers are bragging about their view numbers, when a lot of you tater tot and you Sneeko bots are out here talking about, well, dude, get over here and look, Sneeko just did 18,000 views on that last live stream. Really? How do we know that was really 18,000 people? You're calling us bots, but the only bots I see is on his channel. What are we talking about?
I was curious to see if this was a pattern, so I checked out Steven Crowder's streams throughout the week, and this finding repeated itself every time. Sometimes it was just a few thousand views, other times it was tens of thousands. It's impossible to say how many views are being added here because the numbers would appear about 15 minutes before a stream would begin in some
Facts.
cases, and they often wouldn't get updated until 10 to 15 minutes after the stream started. I decided to run this same test on a stream for Dan Bongino where, like Crowder, he had about 20,000 views counted before his stream began.
How?
And again, this one is also probably being undercounted.
Hey,
Whatever.
no chat. The crazy thing is, these guys are being offered multi-million-dollar deals just for Rumble to just juice them up. I don't. Hey, yo. So wait a minute. You're paying them, but then you're boosting their shit at the same time. You're not even getting the value because then they got to bring the people over from YouTube anyway. So aren't you just losing money, Rumble? No wonder your stock's down. Like what? Hey, can we look at Rumble? Because somebody, hey, Chat GPT, shout out to y'all. Can y'all help me out? What is Rumble down right now? What is their stock price from where it was? Because I know they're not doing too well. Can somebody update me on that in the chat? Where's Rumble at? Because with these numbers I'm seeing, it's no wonder they're getting pelted right now. It's no wonder, right? Because Myron made a comment about that. Look, Rumble's had more viewers than ever, but now they're being pelted in the stock market. This is a sign of the Matrix, huh? I'm sorry, you not see this freaking Sudoku math over here that Rumble's using to calculate views? What are we talking about here? What is this? Come on, bro. Just continue.
Whatever is going on in the back end, I'm pretty confident in saying that
$5? Oh my God, bro.
Crowder's live stream view counts and possibly other streamers on Rumble are being boosted by counting views of people waiting for the stream to start. That was my hypothesis anyway, so I decided to test it out and maybe get a better idea of how overcounted these views really are. I created an account on Rumble, and after getting some followers so I would be allowed to stream, I ran my test. When setting up a stream, Rumble gives you the option of adding your own custom video so your audience has something short to watch while waiting for the stream to start.
Hold up! Look at this mess! Whoa! What is it? Hey, yo! Nah, fam. Nah. No. They not gonna make it. They not gonna make it, bro. This is heading towards Pink Sheets level. All right. They not gonna make it, chat. Whoa. Nah. What are we talking? Look at this. I'm sorry, bro. Now my mind's made up. Oh, y'all wait till the end of this stream, bro, because I gotta ask y'all this question. My ones and twos army, bro. I gotta ask y'all this question because this shit right here, I think it's a massive trap for a lot of these people who are jumping on a Rumble wagon. Like I didn't even look at Let's continue.
I didn't have a ton of short videos on hand, so I just grabbed this 8-second one.
It tastes of macam.
I started the stream and left it unlisted and opened a second browser to watch it, so there was only ever one viewer viewing the stream. The preview video autoplayed as soon as I opened the page and looped for the whole hour. While watching, I refreshed a few times, waiting for that view stat to pop up, and eventually it did, but the only number I saw was 13 views.
How? How do you take one and then get 13 out of it? The math don't make sense. Whoa. Hey, yo, chat. Yo, hey, y'all niggas are liars. Y'all are some scam artists, bro. I can't believe y'all. Y'all wanted. Wait a minute, time out. Y'all wanted to expect. You want us to expect to believe Rumble is the next best thing when Rumble stock is doing these numbers, and then when we look at y'all channels, they're doing these numbers. You take one and you get 13 out of it. How? Sway? Make it make sense. Y'all some scammers, bro. Y'all some legitimate. I'm crying, bro. This is too damn funny. Y'all some scammers. I thought it. This is bad. This is not looking good. Moxie, what's good? Shout out to you. Welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for the 5. Hold on. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Moxie says, I was going to invest in Rumble stock because of the freedom of speech issues on YouTube, but due to the fake view / bots, I wouldn't touch it. Nah, I'm not touching that. What? Nah, bro. I don't think. Listen, I'm not even just seeing what the stock number is. I'm starting to realize the reason behind the desperation of Rumble paying these guys a shit ton of money just so they can bot their views. It's slowly starting to make sense. That's why this is hilarious to me, because now it's like, oh, the light bulb just kind of went off right now. Oh, this is what y'all, this is their plan. Okay, they're trying to convince the average investor that they're actually doing good by getting these young, super popular influencers to get on there, shill their platform, especially guys on the right, in order to make it seem like, hey, investors, look, we have a lot of these users using our platform. You should give us more money so we can go from $5 to $10. This is crazy.
Strange number to get with only one viewer watching a clip that replayed itself for about roughly 450 times over the course of an hour. Of course, like I said earlier, this early stat should be considered a moment in time and not something that reflects a real-time count of views. After the hour was up, I started the stream and immediately ended it. If any other views were counted for the stream after it actually began, it was probably just one view for that stream starting up. I waited for the view count to update in the back end, giving it as much time as possible to make sure all the views were counted for, and the final view count for this video was not 13 views, but 226 views, all from one person who tuned in an hour before the stream began.
How? Whoa! You go from 1 to 226? No. Nah, no. Oh, no. This is fraud on the highest level. This is how one person viewing the show amounts to 226 views counted. Are we seeing these numbers, chat? Does this math make any sense to you? What is this? So when all these conservatives are saying go over to Rumble, to do what? So a bunch of bots can tell us what's going on? Like, what is this? Wow. So from that one viewership, you got 226 views counted. Yeah, this is a scam. It's a scam.
Significantly higher than that first set of 13 views. This works out to approximately 50% of the preview video loops being counted as views. I repeated that test with a stream that only ran for 30 minutes, and that one ended up with 114 views, which is roughly half. So the finding seems pretty consistent. I also tried running a stream without the preview video. Turns out one gets automatically generated and autoplays for any viewers. So
whoa! Chat, that's the scheme. That's the scheme, chat. So no matter what, they got to loop this right before they do the live. Oh my God, this is highway robbery.
So it looks like any stream that's scheduled for the future is going to have one of these videos. A little after scheduling this particular test, though, I noticed that automatically generated video was playing, so I paused it and let the stream run for 30 minutes without any video loops, aside from the first few that might have snuck through before I paused the video. The final view count for this stream was 5.
Oh! Whoa! So it's the loop. It's the opening loop. That's how they're bagging all these views. So they're not really even making money. They're not making money on these. Whoa. Nah, dude, this is crazy.
I wanted to run another test, and for this one, I would let the default video, which lasts about 15 seconds, play for 30 minutes instead of my 8-second clip. The result for this one was 120 views, which was kind of strange because that's more views than the 8-second clip. If we do some math here, we see that the 15-second video could be played 120 times within 30 minutes. And with that bit of information, everything started coming together in my mind. The discrepancy between using an 8-second video and a 15-second one is only a few views, which suggests to me that what's being counted here is not the number of loops, but how long someone is watching. But how long someone is watching is not entirely disconnected from the fact that these videos are looping. On YouTube, you need to watch a video for 30 seconds for it to count as a view. On Rumble, it appears to be 15 seconds. But on YouTube, at least, Once you start watching a video after 30 seconds, no matter how long that video is, it only gets counted as one view unless you happen to close the video and start watching it again at a later time. Since Rumble is looping the video in these pre-stream sections though, every time the loop repeats, it resets whether or not a view is going to be counted for this video. So every 15 seconds, a video flips over and gets counted as a new view. In fact, that would explain why using an 8-second video would mean the view count is slightly lower, because the counter is being reset every 16 seconds instead of 15. In other words, it's getting reset every other loop. But I wanted to run one more test just to be certain. This time I used a preview video that was 1 minute in length. So every time it ran, it would meet that 15-second threshold, but then would go on for another 45 seconds before looping. And I assumed that's when another play would be counted. If my theory held true, that would mean that this video would get roughly 30 views if I let it run for 30 minutes. So that's how long I let it run for. The final total for this experiment, 32 views.
Is that Steven getting mollywopped by like a construction worker? Hold up, what's happening here? Wait, hold up, can we just not ignore the video? Why is this guy in a hard hat beating up Steven? What's happening here? I think we missed something important.
Before looping, and I assumed that's when another play would be counted. If my theory held true, that would mean that this video would get roughly 30 views if I let it run for 30 minutes. So that's how long I let it run for. The final total for this experiment, 32 views.
Hold up. That was random. I don't know where he found that video at. That was random. But damn, just one person can get 32 views just by these loops that Rumble are producing. That's crazy. Misinterpretation. Shout out to you for the $10 super chat. Let's get them dubs in the chat. It says Rumble didn't know that the internet is undefeated. Facts. Someone out there has time to do the research and you will be found out. That is facts. Absolutely facts. Like, this is crazy that Rumble thinks they can get away with this. Again, chat, this is why I got to ask you this question, because I need to know if we're on the same wavelength or not, okay? Because I personally think this is going to be a trap for a lot of these content creators, right? And even guys like Fresh and Fit, this is why I think, honestly, even though I'm kind of like weirded out by this, I'm honestly kind of excited. The reason why I'm excited is because, listen, Fresh and Fit's demonetized off of YouTube, okay? That's done. Rumble is the last bastion of hope. From what I'm seeing right now, Rumble does not look like it's doing well. Even Myron would admit that Rumble is getting pelted right now in the markets. If these guys, Sneeko, all these people, these controversial guys, move their platform on over to Rumble and Rumble collapses, what do you think is going to happen to these people? Right? All that bragging about all the views that you've been getting, being at the peak at 100,000 views, even all this right-wing shit, it all collapses. This is crazy. Misinterpretation. Let's read the super chat. She says, I didn't know Rumble, Rumble didn't know that the internet's undefeated. Someone out there has time to research and you will be found out. Yeah, that's absolutely facts. That is absolutely facts. It sounds good the second time reading it. It's absolutely right. Let's continue.
I think it's safe to say that Rumble counts a view every 15 seconds and that the counter gets reset every time a loop completes. And isn't it just a darn coincidence that the default length of time for a generated video on Rumble to run is...
Hey, forever hodling Doge. I need to see you on my other channel, bro. Wednesdays when I'm doing that show. I need to see you on my other channel, bro. We got to have a conversation about this.
Exactly 15 seconds, almost like they plan to inflate their view numbers using these little preview videos. I am making a few assumptions here, for example, that Rumble treats all its channels equally, and when you consider that the average viewer isn't likely to turn up 1 hour or 30 minutes before a stream start, although some certainly do, so it's probably not fair to assume that every early viewer is adding 100 views to each video. Although you should also consider that Steven Crowder usually starts his streams late, so I'm sure he's getting a healthy injection of views into all of his videos. One big caveat
So he's doing this on purpose. Steven Crowder definitely knows this is happening. This revelation is crazy.
Like to mention is that my tests probably weren't representative in how some people tune into live streams. When I was running these tests, I would open a browser window and just let it sit there. So I ran a few tests where I simulated more realistic behavior. Instead of just letting the stream sit there, letting the video loop nonstop, I tried opening a new tab, minimizing the window, and just doing stuff to generally not look at the stream. Something a person might do if a stream hasn't actually started yet. Even while doing that, I was still getting plenty of views. These loops are still running even when you have a window minimized.
Yeah, and no, because I do something when I'm waiting for somebody to stream, because people do that. All right, we're all human beings. All right, we watch other streamers too as well, and when we're in the waiting room, we're sitting there. All right, we're doing other things. We got other tabs open. For me, I'm either working on my project or I'm like playing video games on another screen. Right, so we do that. There are other things happening. So you mean to tell me why this is going on Rumble? They're just counting that as a loop. They're just counting that as a view. That's robbery. That's what this is. This is theft. That's the theft. Okay, because whoever's investing in this, whoever's doing, they gotta know at some point this don't smell right. None of this smell right. How can you build trust with influencers if they know that this is the kind of nonsense Rumble has to deal with, has to put out? I mean, it's crazy.
Here are a few examples of tests where I did my best to ignore the window or the stream was running, and I was still getting views when really I should have been getting 0.
That's
My
crazy.
favorite is this one right here where I got 9 views. I got this by pasting the stream URL into a fresh new tab, pressing enter, and then immediately going into a new tab and then minimizing the whole window.
No! Yo! The views are that easy, bro. This is TikTok level exposure. Right? Because y'all know TikTok is so easy to get views and subs. It's not even funny, right? But then you see these people bragging about it. It's like, what you bragging about? You're not making money on there. You're not making money. Come to YouTube, then it's impressive, right? But TikTok, anybody can get a view from just farting. Like you get just, oh, what's that? That's a view. Go ahead and pay for it, whatever you want to do with it. That's Rumble right here. You mean to tell me, dude just copied and pasted the link? No, not even. So who are watching these videos? Who are these 9 people? All right, where did these 9 people come from? What is this? Like, yo, chat. I got so many questions. So wait a goddamn minute. Time out. So you mean to tell me you don't have to be present, but instantly you're just getting views just piling on and yo, bruh, nah. I refuse. So you just open a new tab, paste the link in there. Stream not even started yet. 9 people watching. Who are these people? Who are these people? Sneeko, I think instead of calling other people bots, Andrew Tate, yeah, we're going to look at your channel too. Instead of calling other people bots, how about y'all just pay attention to the real bots, the real matrix, all right? That's y'all. Y'all can just get views from imaginary people. Like, make this make sense. Like, what is this? 9 people out of nowhere on an unlisted video. Yo, man.
And when it came time for the stream to actually start, I closed the whole window, waited 15 seconds, and then started the stream. At no point was I looking at this stream or even the preview video, but I still somehow ended up with 9 views.
That's crazy.
It's impossible to tell how many viewers are doing what I was doing in these tests and completely ignoring the window or stream that they have the little preview video open in. But even if they're doing that, they're still contributing to views. And when you consider that there are viewers there who do just leave it open and mess around in the chat, or maybe go somewhere to get a meal, or maybe they have it open in another monitor, they're contributing even more. And if you doubt that that's happening, the early stats that drop before the streams begin verify that to some degree, some of the viewers are doing this. When Steven Crowder has more than 4,000 people waiting for a stream, some percentage of them are waiting with that tab open in front of them, contributing dozens of views to that counter. One can only guess at how many people are tuning in either on time or early.
I know it's not that much. Have you guys noticed when Sneeko streams on Rumble that the chat moves very, very slow, right? Same thing with Fresh and Fit. When they're streaming on Rumble, they got 20,000 people watching. Their chat's not moving at all. Like it's like moving, obviously, but it's not moving at a pace like where you would have to slow it down on YouTube, right? So again, where are these people coming from? Like, how do you get 9 views from one person? How do you watch one video 9 times before it starts and the video is unlisted? Make it make sense.
That preview video loop in the background while they wait for the stream to start. But regardless, I think this is strong evidence that Crowder's view numbers, likely along with other people streaming on Rumble, are being inflated.
Yeah,
With that in
no
mind,
fucking
Crowder's Rumble views make a little more sense. It's not that he's massively more popular there, but rather a bunch of extra views are padding his numbers overall. It would also explain, at least in part, why engagement is lower than on YouTube. There were other things that made me scratch my head a little while I was watching, but none of it that I could really carefully say was evidence of fraud the way I'm pretty sure this early view count is. Also, just as a little extra, I was curious to see how Rumble was doing as a platform financially. Their latest earnings report just came out in August, covering its second quarter of 2023, and it doesn't really paint the rosiest of pictures. While revenue is roughly 5.5 times higher from where it was last.
Hold up. I got to look at this. Nah, bruh. Hold up. How did your cost of service go from 4 million in 2022 to 40 million? The fuck is something's wrong with Rumble, dude. This is not making any sense. So let me get this right. You spent $40 million the following year for services. What is it? Bribing these other content creators and signing these weird deals? Is that where most of the money is going to? Huh? Well, what is this? This is great. This is not looking good.
Year, expenses have gone up by 6.5 times as much.
That's
they lost
crazy.
Nearly $29.4 million in their last quarter, and they've lost $58.1 million in the last 6 months.
Who is investing in this? Wait, time out. Hey, Moxie, was that you? Hey, you lucky. Keep your money out. Looking at this over here, if you're looking at this financials, I'm sorry, this does not inspire confidence for me. How long has Rumble been out here now? How long has it been out here? For a couple of years, right? How long have they been around? Like since 2022, right? So, okay. No, they've been around. Hold up. Have they been? How long? Okay, 2022 is the most I'm seeing right now. They've probably been around for longer. Who knows? But god damn, who's invested in this? All right. Every year the company's losing even more money, and it seems as though it's on an exponential level. Who's pouring money into this? And it makes you wonder, what is Rumble doing? Are they going the Netflix strategy route? Like, what is this? Like, what are they planning on doing with these expenses here? I mean, who's eating these costs?
At some point, they probably need to figure out how to turn a profit, but right now they're still very much in the red. It does make one wonder how much longer this platform can keep losing money before investors lose faith.
Especially with a competition like YouTube out there. You can't afford to be losing this much money with YouTube on your heels. The fuck? What is it? Hold up. Oh, Savage Sweetheart. Shout out to you for the $10 super chat. Let's get a W in there for Savage Sweetheart. Off topic. Common Sense Skeptic interviewed the lawyers that are representing Tate's victims. Hold the French toast door. Oh, it's happening right now. Okay. Chat. Goddamn. Chat. Thank you, Savage Sweetheart. I appreciate this because we're gonna have to react to this. Y'all know this. We're not going. It's premiere right now, so we're gonna give it some time. We gotta let it spread out. We gotta let it. A lot of people get their hands on it. All right, watch this video. But I think we gotta cover this. Because I had another video I was gonna cover tomorrow, but we're gonna have to move that out of the way because we're gonna have to squeeze this in. This is big news. Hold up, let me show y'all what I'm looking at, chat. It's live right now. So what I'm about to do, chat, here's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, because I wanna see what's going on. Oh, that's a premiere. Okay, never mind. It's not live. Okay, it's a premiere. All right, so it's a pre-recorded one, but we can get things going here. All right, so I think we figured out what the next video is gonna be. Shout out to you, Savage Sweetheart. I appreciate this. See, this is why I gotta get my Discord going so that I can get up-to-date news on what's happening. So that's actually, I'm gonna move that up. That's gonna be tomorrow's video. Let's play the rest of this. That way, I wanna do you guys a solid because I know I'm super passionate about this Andrew Tate thing too. So I want to give you guys a chance to be able to go, like, if you guys want, some of you guys want to watch that live, go ahead and take advantage of that because I want to watch what's going on over here. It's actually getting crazy. But let's go ahead. Actually, this video is almost done, but let's see the conclusion on this, and then let's go ahead and then wrap this up because this is about to get crazy. Like, and you guys understand, it's October. Okay, this month is the month. We gotta figure out what's gonna happen to Tate, baby. All right, the future of this man is happening this month. What's gonna go on the trial? What's not gonna go on the trial? So this is gonna be highly volatile, man. And the fact that a lot of these guys toss their egg in the Tate bucket, y'all about to eat it now.
Originally, this was going to be part of a much longer video, but this section in particular really stood out on its own and didn't fit in with the bigger piece. So that's why it's being presented in a video that's much shorter than the usual stuff you see on my channel. That larger video will be about the early days of Steven Crowder's career, including the time he got punched in the face by a union worker. And
I want to see that. I didn't know Steven Crowder got punched in the face, because I always said this guy has a slappable face, especially when he just talks shit. You know, that whole George Floyd thing where he pretended to have a dude put a boot on his neck, right? And it was kind of weird. It was kind of weird. I think that was a punchable moment right there. I mean, that's crazy. You would do something like that to try to, like, you know, dismiss racism. Like, that's insane, Steven. Again, but I didn't know he got punched in the face by some union worker. Hey, yo, chat, y'all want to react to that? Let me chat. I gotta let the chat GPT vote. All right, chat GPT gotta vote. Okay, y'all want to see Crowder get just slapped by a union worker? Like, what's he even doing with union workers? I didn't even know this was a thing. Right, that's crazy. But we'll probably say that for another video, bro. But like, somebody said, TL Cole says he provoked it. He provoked it. God damn. Okay, we gotta react to a different video. We have to, bro. He says, oh, John Shanti says, John says Crowder has a video on it. Did he do a video reacting to it? All right, hold on. Let's okay. I guess we gotta react to it. Hold up. Is it on his channel? Hold up. Let me go back to dude over here. Give me 1 second. He must have done a part 2. He said, let me see. There's got to be a part. Let me find a part 2. Hold up. There's got to be a part 2 here. He dropped that literally a week ago or 2 weeks ago. There is a part 2. Yo, chat. What y'all want to do? What y'all want to do, chat GPT? What y'all want to do? All right, we can wrap it up with Crowder getting slapped around by a union worker, or we can call it right here and then revisit it. Y'all let me know what y'all want to do, chat. Let me know in the chat. Y'all can vote. All right. And those of you guys who are higher up in terms of like membership, y'all got the final word too. But let's see. This is actually interesting. He does have the video out. All right, got some people saying play it. All right, we're gonna play it. All right, I'll listen to y'all. Isaiah says play. Isaiah's been for a while. Shout out to Isaiah. Let's play it. Let's break this up. Hold up. Let's boop.
in Crowder's career like when it first started? And what was his evolution like from a random guy on YouTube doing his stand-up routine to conservative commentator with a multi-million-dollar talk show? So I decided to take a little trip back in time to get a better understanding of what Crowder's content used to be like and what we can learn about it in the present. Since this video isn't a biography about the guy's whole life, let's go through his pre-YouTube life quickly. Steven Crowder was born in Detroit in 1987 and moved to Montreal.
But boy's from Detroit. I didn't even know that. God damn. He's from Detroit. Okay.
Canada when he was 3. He began acting at a young age, notably playing the Brain on the TV series Arthur for 15 episodes.
No
he started doing
fucking
stand-up
way.
comedy at 17 and appeared in a handful of small roles in projects you've likely never seen. Unable to break through in Hollywood, he instead started recording short videos on YouTube expressing his conservative worldview. One of the earliest videos still up on Crowder's channel is titled Hamas, Children, the Gays, and Sarah Palin. The video is a defense of Israel's violence upon the Palestinian people with lines like this one.
Listen, nobody likes seeing innocent life lost on either side. And to the conservatives out there, give credit where credit's due. These Palestinian children are the most resourceful people on the planet when it comes to finding rocks.
You'll have to excuse me for not finding...
How is this funny? Who is this guy?
the humor in children being murdered for supposedly throwing rocks. But this is the sort of comedy Crowder will be dabbling in throughout most of his career. The structure of this video, much like many of Crowder's other early videos, is largely just Crowder doing his stand-up routine into a camera, mixing in jump cuts and the occasional costume change to hammer home his jokes. The production quality is not great, but considering he's just a guy with a camera and it's 2009 on YouTube, that's pretty forgivable. Crowder would upload videos like these every week.
You know what this video style reminds me of? Who's that one YouTuber that went crazy? Onision, right? Is that his name? Chat GPT, help me out. Is that his name? Onision, right? It looks like those same style of videos. Because I remember like old YouTube. Some of y'all who remember old YouTube, the edits used to be weird. Like they'll be like doing different things in each edit, bro. It was always weird. They'd be even standing in a different position. That's what this video reminds me of. Even then, he's not even funny. I don't get it. Like, and Steven Crowder says he was a comedian. Where? I don't see it.
His brand of humor and ignorance to create little moments like this, taken from a video where he defends Big Pharma's profit incentive.
Here's the way I look at it. If Richard Simmons can make dozens of $1 million from Dance Your Pants Off Volume 4, the guy who gave us the polio vaccine deserves some loose change.
The creator of the polio vaccine.
God, that voice! What the hell?
Jonas Salk, famously refused to patent that vaccine because he put the needs of people ahead of his own personal profit. A fact I thought was commonly known, but you'll find many of Crowder's videos typically are missing or deliberately omit a number of vital facts in order for him to make his points. It's also really weird to watch this video in 2023 because it's such a full-throated defense of the pharmaceutical industry, specifically when it comes to vaccines. Knowing how the politicization of the COVID vaccine would make so many conservatives change face. While it might be tempting to score some easy hypocrisy points here, or brand Crowder a grifter, it's also possible his views have changed over time after being so deeply ensconced in the conservative media space. I think it's important to give people space to grow and change. Although when it comes to Crowder, it seems like almost all his growth has been in a bad direction. We can see Crowder's style evolve in his early...
My man growing in the opposite direction, bro. It's like, bro, you shrinking. What we doing? Hey, you got to elevate, my boy. You just going backwards. I've never seen a dude fail backwards in my entire life.
Videos as he started to mix little skits into his comedy, rather than just have him speak into the camera directly for the whole thing. It shows a greater understanding of the power this medium has. Though more often than not, doing skits just seem like an excuse for him to dress up in drag. Something he did a lot of early on.
That's awful.
Yeah, Steven. Yeah, you talking about trans and drag queens and all that? Yeah, nah, bro. Nah, again, chat. Remember what I told you? Watch out for these people who are overly aggressive against other people of other sex, or if they believe in other things or whatnot, right? And then look what they do behind the scenes. Some of it just screams projection to me.
Something he did a lot of early on.
That's awful.
Although it's pretty well known that Crowder loves dressing in drag, what was genuinely disturbing in these videos is that one of the Nancy Pelosi ones ended with him waterboarding her.
Shut up, you old bag! It'd be good times.
I should mention, Steven Crowder doesn't consider waterboarding torture, though he seems it as a, I guess, humorous way to punish people he disagrees with politically. In the context of a skit, though, I don't think he genuinely wants to waterboard Nancy Pelosi. I also want to mention...
I don't know about that. This looks like some kind of fantasy just being reenacted.
Something that's happening with his humor here. He's wearing this weird lipstick because the joke is that Nancy Pelosi is the Joker, which doesn't make sense. I'm not sure how a politician who represented at the time the ruling political party was also the Joker. This is emblematic of a lot of Crowder's comedy. If a reference pops into his mind, he'll shout it out as if it's a joke. But his references often make little to no sense. They're usually based on the most superficial similarities. In this case, Nancy Pelosi has a big smile, therefore she's the Joker. That superficial layer is as deep as it gets. I suspect it's not the wit people are enjoying with videos like these, but rather seeing Nancy Pelosi being violently assaulted. With comedy like this, Crowder was very quickly noticed by Andrew Breitbart, the man who famously coined the term "politics is downstream from culture." Breitbart was a major
this guy right here
figure in the right-wing media space, helping it move away from discussing politics and instead trying to move their agenda to discussing culture. Crowder, as a young man with energy and something resembling talent, was a departure from the young conservative voices seen on YouTube back in the day, like early conservative YouTuber Lee Dolan.
And I make it some of my videos in 15 minutes just in my apartment where I'll just talk to a camera.
Compared to Dolan, Crowder was bursting with charisma, or at the very least, energy. Crowder's talking points were old, but his presentation was a breath of fresh air, so it's not surprising that the conservative media space snapped him up so quickly. By June of 2009, less than a year from the earliest Crowder video we can find online, Steven Crowder was working with Pajama Television, or PJTV, which marked a noticeable increase in his production values.
Well, I agree with you, Keith. You're so smart. Thank you, Rachel.
If you're wondering what the hell Pajama Television is, it's a part of Pajamas Media, which was started by Charles Johnson, a software developer, and writer Roger L. Simon. It was financed by tech billionaire Aubrey Chernick, and takes its name from a screw-up in mainstream media after Dan Rather used some forged documents in a news report on George W. Bush. When this mix-up was revealed by bloggers online, it was embarrassing for the network. A former CBS News executive said, "You couldn't have a starker contrast between the multiple layers of checks and balances at 60 Minutes and a guy sitting in his room in his pajamas."
That's
That's how pajamas got affixed to a conservative media outlet. As part of PJTV, Crowder would continue to produce short videos, though there was less of an emphasis on stand-up and more on sketches. The funding also gave Crowder the ability to tackle more ambitious projects. Instead of short comedy videos running 3 to 5 minutes, he would start producing longer pieces running over 10 minutes that had him traveling to places such as Montreal and Detroit. These longer videos are much like the shorter ones in that they parrot common conservative talking points, mixing in Crowder's particular type of humor. The most egregious of these was Crowder's visit to Guantanamo Bay in a video titled "The Real Guantanamo Bay."
I'm not
Here's how it happened.
surprised.
This whole video is a very odd defense of the prison, which held hundreds of people without any sort of trial because they were suspected of being terrorists.
And this is what Steven Crowder does, right? He tries to trivialize something that was so heinous. Guantanamo Bay, man, prisoners were sodomized. And the worst part is a lot of those people that they captured and put in there, some of them, they actually had no actual evidence connecting them to any terrorist activity. Some of them were just like ordinary citizens that got nabbed by CIA black ops, all right, and then they just shoved them on in Guantanamo Bay. And so, again, Steven Crowder, him trying to make show the innocent side of Guantanamo Bay, it's a nod to these conservatives, right? Because these guys, they want to, all these liberals that complain about people in prison getting tortured and waterboarded. Come on, all right? Yeah, the U.S. doesn't torture innocent people, okay? The U.S. tortures terrorists. And Steven Crowder's right, okay? Guantanamo Bay is not too bad. It's like, oh, God. And just like it's no different from what he tried to do. It's the same attempt with the George Floyd, right? When he recreated the event and had his buddy put a knee on his neck, all right, and saying, "See, guys, see, I'm not dead." Look at that. So George Floyd must have just been a real degenerate, right? I mean, think about it. It was the meth that killed him or the heroin. It wasn't the officer's knee on his neck slowly choking him to death. No, I mean, just prove that right here on my show. Yeah, that's Steven Crowder. Yeah, I don't like the guy. If you haven't tell already, he's a tool.
It conflates what Guantanamo Bay is like for people in the US military with brief hints at the experiences of prisoners. The fact that the guards have a nice life doesn't somehow make it a lovely place to visit or a place you'd want to spend any time as a prisoner. The prison on Guantanamo Bay was the site of torture, with several detainees claiming to have experienced some form of it. And even a Bush administration official, Susan J. Crawford, spoke about one detainee remarking, "We tortured Mohammed al-Qahtani." Crowder's video came out 10 months after this admission from the Bush administration. In his video, Crowder spent some time talking about detainees living a pretty good life in prison.
Not only do they have a beautiful ocean view, bountiful rec time, oftentimes video game privileges, access to language courses, laptop classes, and other various life skills training courses, they also get their own top-notch soccer field.
He then reads a list.
They're in prison against their will. The fuck?
Of rules on how troops are supposed to treat detainees, which is all well and good if that's what was actually happening.
Our troops are not even allowed to force them to stand for prolonged periods of time, or threaten them, or cover their heads during transportation, or interrogate them for up to 20 hours, force them to do calisthenics, deprive them of sleep, or force them to shave.
Going back to the interview with Crawford, the techniques they used were all authorized, but the manner in which they applied them was overly aggressive and too persistent. You think of torture, you think of some horrendous physical act done to an individual. This was not any one particular act. This was just a combination of things that had a medical impact on him, that hurt his health. It was abusive and uncalled for, and coercive, clearly coercive. It was that medical impact that pushed me over the edge. Call it torture, she said. These comments don't come from someone reading regulations in a book, but rather someone looking at the actual record of how certain detainees were treated. Crawford was convinced that Catani would have been part of the September 11th attack in 2001 had he been able to get into the United States. But him having been tortured kept her from recommending he go to trial for whatever role he had played in the operation beforehand. The US Army defended the specific actions used to torture him as being lawful at the time, but afterwards the field manual would be updated to no longer allow those same techniques to be used, something Crowder doesn't mention in his video. While being detained, it is stated that Catani experienced beatings, forced enemas, and at one point they made him wear a leash and demanded he do dog tricks. Context like this.
Oh yeah, but they got their own soccer field though, so I guess prison in Guantanamo Bay wasn't all bad, according to Crowder and his conservative lackeys. This is the kind of toxic, like tone deaf, like ideologies that are being pushed on a lot of conservatives out there. They don't even know the truth. These guys are spilling you a ball of yarn.
This may well have been known to Crowder, but I'm not sure he would have cared when you hear him say things like this.
I personally believe that prison should be as unpleasant as humanly possible.
This whole video reads like an endorsement for torture. And even if the worst things said about Catani are true, that he was someone who would 9/11 America if he had the chance, that doesn't justify treating someone like a literal animal or putting their life at risk through abusive use of other interrogation techniques or assaulting them. This is the type of content Crowder was producing when he was scouted by Fox News and brought on board as a contributor in 2009.
Why are we not surprised that Fox News saw the star in this loser, right? Look at this.
To his more notable Fox News work later on, but much of it was just him being a conservative talking head without much of the flair of his online work. His YouTube content around this time has a large gap of several months where he seems to have stopped working with PJTV, and when he returns to the platform with a noticeable drop in production quality, his videos are now branded with nationalcenter.org in the top right corner. National Center is a conservative think tank pushing private market solutions as opposed to government involvement in issues such as healthcare, education, and a number of other projects. Crowder's star kept rising.
Think tank? You mean the same think tank the guys on the right are saying are propaganda tools? So what you mean the right are calling people who the left-wing think tanks propaganda tools. So right-wing think tanks that Steven Crowder came out of, that's not a propaganda tool? So you mean to tell me this guy right here, Steven Crowder, isn't an agent? He sounded like an agent to me.
In this time as he hosted the annual conference for the Conservative Political Action Committee, or CPAC, in 2011. Apparently they liked him enough to bring him back in 2012 for one of the cringiest rap performances I've ever seen in my life.
What? Hey, somebody come get your grandmas. What's going on over here? Hey, who let their grandmama out the house? What? My boy is rapping. Y'all, nah. What is this? This would be the type of event only Steven Crowder can comfortably rap in, right? Where everybody's vibing. Hey, look at this. We gotta play this up on the Spotify, yo.
One thing I noticed a lot in Crowder's earlier work that became less pronounced as time went on was how on occasion it worked really hard to pull at the heartstrings of its audience. In the video Detroit in Ruins, Crowder Goes Ghetto, Crowder spends 12 minutes mocking the city and falsely blaming unions for the downturn of Detroit. There is an article linked below from Smithsonian Magazine that has an interesting counter to the talking point that Detroit was some kind of auto workers' paradise in the 1950s. But what I really want to highlight in this video is the final minute where things get very sappy.
When you continue to remove free market principles that have made this country great, and you continue to create a state-dependent society, this is very well what America could look like in a very short amount of time. And
a dumbass, a free market, at least your idea of free market, brought on the massive state. What are we talking about? Matter of fact, look how perverted our free market has become. So much so that we have government and state working, not government and state, we have the state and corporations working together in some kind of autocratic regime that we're living under right now where the corporations run the world. So what are we talking about? This is where free market leads us to. I hate when conservatives still spill the whole turk and talking for them. Oh yeah, we got the free market. Listen, all right, it led to this shit. This is why. Matter of fact, free market in the past also led to the Great Depression. Wasn't it FDR that came out with the New Deal and said, "Hey, we gotta start prioritizing certain things, about the people versus stock markets and corporations." So I don't know, when you guys talk about free market and saying that this is responsible for it, again, it's just the tone deafness of this whole argument.
And I think that's important.
He did something similar when he went to Mexico for another video.
Oh, God.
In a 2014 video, he dropped the jokes entirely and really went for the emotional jugular. This video was titled, "Special Needs Abortion, a Holocaust."
You just immediately pick up on the fact that they are so much happier than most people.
I have many feelings about this video. On the one hand, presenting people who have Down syndrome with empathy and humanity is a good thing. That Crowder spends time with people to brighten their days is nice. But to then use that experience to make an anti-abortion video is something else entirely.
There we go. And this is why, again, Candace Owens did the same crap like this. Pearl, she's coming out with her own documentary, right? What is it? The divorce households and whatnot. Again, all these people, watch out for them. They have agendas. Okay? Their agenda is the opposite of what they're screaming at their opponents for doing. Okay? So let's just be real.
People with Down syndrome are human beings who can choose to advocate for whatever they like. And if someone with Down syndrome wanted to make an anti-abortion video, I would disagree, but I would not find that as objectionable as this video. In this Crowder video, none of these people get a voice or give any indication that they support this cause. They're just shown on screen while Crowder provides all the narration.
So they're just props. Yeah. Who can look at this Crowder guy and say he's a stand-up person? He's using... This is low. Oh, I didn't even know this was what? So you're just using people with disabilities for prop to advance your political agenda. You're ironically blaming the left for doing that. But what is this? Wow, this is actually kind of sick.
What Crowder is doing here is presenting being pro-choice as some form of eugenics that would eliminate these people from the population. It's a caricature of the left's position.
This is manipulation, bro. And these people, they don't even know what the hell's going on. They don't even realize they're being used as a cheap propaganda tool for Steven Crowder and his right-wing cronies. Just think about this. They probably don't have similar beliefs as Steven Crowder. How do we know? They never get to talk.
And the conversation around abortion and Down syndrome in particular is a complicated one. Early detection of diseases during pregnancy is an incredibly valuable tool for preventing illnesses that would either lead to a late miscarriage or a child being born who would live with intense suffering for a few weeks or months and then die.
It's still fear-mongering what these guys are doing. They're fear-mongering. That's what they're doing.
With Down syndrome, it's a bit more complicated, as it's possible for someone who's diagnosed with it to live a perfectly healthy and happy life.
Fact.
Preventing a
Also
birth because
to a certain
the
degree.
eventual child might have Down syndrome could be a reflection of our own ableism. When we think of it in that way, this isn't really a question about abortion and how it should be limited, rather how we view and how we understand people with Down syndrome as part of our society. Crowder's video doesn't really tackle those difficult questions, though. He instead is opting to make the less thoughtful anti-abortion point. An interesting article by Sarah Zhang was written in The Atlantic in 2020 that tackled this issue, though, and you can read it linked below if you're curious to hear from people and families confronted with this very complicated issue. What certainly doesn't help is comparing these difficult moral choices to the Holocaust and portraying a pregnant person as a Nazi if they don't believe they would be able to provide a child with Down syndrome a reasonable quality of life.
And the funny thing is, these guys are acting in these behaviors that are resembles Nazis and a lot of these fascist people, right? They're sitting here trying to use fear-mongering, fear tactics, right, and propaganda to use government to go ahead and acquiesce to their will, whilst using their opponents and saying that they're the ones who are using the government to try to change everyone's life and force their way and everything, right? This is textbook fear-mongering right here. These guys are guilty of that. This is what Hitler did, no different. They're following the stepbook propaganda campaign. This is what it is. Steven Crowder's no freaking different with this bullshit video that he put out there.
This whole video also plays into the angelic innocent trope, as if these people are simply floating through life on wings of joy, instead of recognizing that they live in the same society we do. In that way, these people are used twice as props. And it makes me question
Yes,
Crowder's
I just said that
sincerity.
too. I just said that too. Look at him. I wouldn't doubt if he's just laughing at him on the inside. He's probably just clowning all of these disabled people, right? Not disabled, what do you call it? People with Down syndrome right now. He's just clowning them in his head. I guarantee you that's what he's doing. Otherwise, what is this? What is the point of this? To prove that what? People who commit abortion are horrible people for... again, this imagery, man, this stuff sickens me because you could tell the agenda. You can see the agenda. And just how obvious he's doing what he's doing with it.
When he talks about concern over people with Down syndrome. And to reinforce that point, let's take a quick trip to the present day to see how Steven Crowder discusses people with Down syndrome and whether or not they might appreciate a doll that looks a bit more like them.
Down syndrome Barbie.
Short bus not included.
Did she have to say? Did she have to
Short
say smash
bus
through?
not included. But the old Steven Crowder pretended he cared about people with Down syndrome. Maybe he was just laughing at them and just used them as a prop. That's exactly what this is. All of a sudden, fast forward, your views change? What happened, Steven?
Through barriers when we all know about special needs strength. None of them ever thought, I don't feel represented.
Right.
They never complained about it. They were totally fine.
Mocking a doll for being more inclusive.
Just because they don't speak up doesn't mean it's not an issue. Like, again, this is an issue with the conservatives, right? The moment you speak up about an issue, a pressing issue regarding your group or your people or whatever it is, right? That's when they want to sit there and shout you down, right? And then they'll turn around and see, because when they look at the same community and say, oh, well, why are you guys so dysfunctional, right? Why don't you guys do anything about it? We did. We were speaking up about it, but you told us to stop complaining, right? Because y'all don't want to hear it, okay? So if y'all don't hear it, these problems are going to keep going on. So that's what they do. They say, oh, well, the disabled people didn't complain about it, right? I didn't hear any complaints from them. So why did we decide to take this narrative? How do you mean? How do you not know that the person who took this initiative wasn't already suffering from the same syndrome? How would you know that? You don't know that. The person who led this movement could have Down syndrome themselves, and they could do that. All right. So what do you mean? So that's them raising an issue and them getting that issue resolved by having a doll reflect them. So the fact that, again, this is how a lot of conservatives operate, right? They want you to shut the hell up. That's it. Shut up. Don't complain. Don't talk about everything. Don't try to change the system. Don't change the status quo. The government's good and the government's always right. That's their mentality. Oh, they didn't complain about it. So what? Doesn't mean that there aren't needs that aren't there.
And then claiming to speak for people with Down syndrome, again, reveals the depth of Crowder's feelings here. I'm sure he cares vaguely for people with Down syndrome, but he's more interested in using them in his fight against abortion or as part of some endless culture war. He seems to have no problem with his co-hosts using ableist slurs towards a doll that represents a group he supposedly cares so much about. Even Christian anti-abortion groups called him out for this particular segment of his show. Going back to this old Crowder video, though, this could have simply been a video about the importance of services to be provided for these people, or how we should approach these people with kindness and compassion. But it skips the first part and only vaguely references the second to instead focus on the exploitative point. And it reveals how grotesque Crowder's work often is when you strip away the attempts at humor. Stepping back from the awful content of this video, it is the strangest one.
He's an agenda seller. He sells agendas.
And I came across strictly from a stylistic perspective. Unlike Crowder's other videos, this one is intentionally humorless. Of the hundreds of videos he's made, I'm not sure how many others are quite like this, but I'd wager it's a very small minority from the many videos of his I've sampled over the years. And his more recent stuff seems far less likely to stray into territory that is so maudlin. I've mostly been talking about Steven Crowder's YouTube work, but let's go back to his time at Fox News. He was there from 2009 to 2013. Most of that time was spent being a standard talking head, and Crowder himself would later remark that it wasn't his most inspired work. Most of his appearances, from the few I could find, were pretty unremarkable. One of the few notable exceptions when he was on a panel with Amy Schumer and she made him look silly in 2010.
you slip by the dirty comedian thing, but honestly, you call yourself a comedian, but you don't do it that much. Like, I go fishing a couple times a year, but I don't introduce myself on TV as a fisherman. Wow.
By far, though, Crowder's biggest moment on...
Yo! Hey, yo! Hey, whoa! Who would expect that out of her? That's crazy. I didn't even know that. He's like, hey, you call yourself a comedian, bro. You not even funny. Where the jokes at? I still can't find them. Oh, wait. I'm looking at them. Yo, Moordeep, shout out to you for the $5 super chat. Moordeep says, side note, Crowder has instructions for his co-host not to be funnier than him. Oh, my God. So he's got ego problems, too? Really? He has a shut up button to tell him to light a bulb and stop. Whoa, is he that insecure? So he's got to be the funniest guy in the room. That's how you know he's not funny. That's how you know he's not funny, bro. You got to demand other people to shut up so you can talk. Like, wait, what? That's
Fox
crazy.
News was in late 2012 when he was put into heavy rotation on the channel after he uploaded a YouTube video of himself getting punched in the face by a union worker.
You just assaulted me, buddy. Yo!
Before going into...
My man gave him that Wendy's 2-piece special, and then gave him the coat drag for the combo. This is crazy.
Details about this punch and how it was deceptively...
Damn! He came back for the uppercut. That's crazy. How did you piss this guy off? Like, I mean, what is going on, bro?
Edited by Crowder to hide the fact that the union guy thought he was defending himself. Let's rewind a bit to get a better idea of how Crowder views violence. One thing Crowder is very quick to remind his audience of is that he works out and he practices Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He often offers workout tips and even uploaded a video in 2011 of his visit to the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu Academy. The video is more or less just an advertisement for that school.
Wait a minute, I'll work out. So here's a video of me promoting this gym. It's not me working out, but you see me in the gym. Just know that I work out, even though there's no muscle mass on his body.
However, Crowder didn't quite seem so ready for violence a few months later in a video titled Occupy Assaults in Denver. This was filmed during a protest by Occupy Denver of conservative blogger convention BlogCon 11.
Freedom of speech blocker! Freedom of speech blocker! Freedom of speech blocker! Stop pushing! No violence! No violence!
The only reason you're showing me is because you're a weak, out-of-shape older lady who knows I won't hate that.
It's a bit tricky to see what's going on in this footage, and this camera angle was a very strange choice because there were loads of different cameras on the scene that day offering a number of different angles. But this one best captures the moment where Crowder talks tough to a woman half his size who supposedly assaulted him. But like I said, there are plenty of other videos of this event, like this one where you can see Crowder reaching out over the woman's shoulder before she raised her arm to push him back. I suspect Crowder went with the footage he did, which wasn't his own, because it captured his spicy threat to the protester. It also didn't reveal that he was very much invading her space. The whole altercation didn't get much attention at the
Nah, bro. I wouldn't doubt Steven Crowder has it in him to beat women. All right, we saw the video of how he treats his wife behind the scenes. I wouldn't put that over him. Like, just the way he's so aggressive to her. Just walk away, bro. What is that lady gonna do to you? Just walk away. Leave her alone. So what? Why y'all cry? First of all, what is happening in this crowd that she's in the middle of it? What's happening here? I'm gonna tell you this. Y'all not gonna catch me in this position.
time outside of the online conservative media space, which is probably why you've never heard of it. A week later, in a video titled Occupy's Greatest Hits, featuring Carl Winslow, Crowder mocked the protesters,
is this?
highlighting
What is this? What is this cop doing? What is he doing? He's in handcuffs. What are you doing?
Or arrest.
We are equal.
Well, at least that's an approved arrest.
What the fuck is this?
Seeing a hippie beaten up was everything I'd hoped it would be.
Crowder's reaction.
Oh yeah, real tough when a guy's hands cuffed behind his back and the guy's grabbing him by his neck. What the fuck? That was gross.
Here, and the joy he takes in seeing these protesters be roughly handled by police is worth keeping in mind. It's not that he's against violence at a protest, it's just that he believes police are the ones who should be enacting violence upon protesters. Going back to the woman who supposedly assaulted Crowder, it really seems like he was trying to get some kind of reaction from her. Countering a protest is fine, but surrounding someone with cameras and invading their personal space reveals this to be a feeding frenzy of conservative bloggers trying to make hay out of an unexpected protest. And Crowder chose the footage that let him look like both a victim and a tough guy standing up to a mean protester. So from all of this, I think it's safe to say that, to a degree, some of Crowder's behavior in these situations can be a bit provocative.
You think?
This sort of provocative behavior is seen again a year later when Steven Crowder went to a union protest in Michigan. In December of 2012, unions were protesting a right-to-work law that would limit the power of unions from collecting labor dues, effectively weakening their ability to collectively bargain, giving employers greater power over their workers.
Scott Walker in Wisconsin tried to do that same shit here. I remember, bro, I went out protesting, like trying to get rid of teachers and shit, the teachers union. Scott Walker tried to, like, a lot of these Republicans, man, and unions, I don't know what's going on with them, bro.
Express support for this legislation, Crowder joined the Americans for Prosperity group present. Americans for Prosperity being a libertarian conservative political advocacy group funded by the Koch brothers that has been working to weaken unions across the United States and fight against increases to the minimum wage.
That's what they
the details of what happened that day are a little bit messy, but I'll try to sort them out as best I can and give you some sense
And
of
these
what
guys are like, they look like genuine blue collar, some of them, union workers. Some of them got the construction hat on. I don't know why you think this is the best place, Crowder, to go in and provoke a bunch of people and not expect a two-piece combo just served up to you, all right? My dude said, here's some biscuit, hold the gravy. What are we doing here, bro? Like, Joe, like, again, these people, these people, my God. Why are you
During the
giving
protest by union workers, counter-protesters led by Americans for Prosperity were also present. They had set up 2 large tents on the grounds. During the protest, as both sides shouted at each other, both of these tents eventually came down. There is a lot of
What is this? Look at that one.
discussion over who knocked over these tents, with union workers being blamed by right-wing media, and workers claiming that members of American for Prosperity were the ones pulling out pegs and egging on union members to take part. Regardless of who started this, there is ample video evidence of what appear to be several workers who are cheering on the taking down of the tents, and some of them actively seem to be participating once the tents started to come down. They seem to be a small number of the total number of protesters who were there, but it is still unfortunate that they participated, as someone easily could have gotten hurt. Aside from the tents coming down at the protest, it was largely an uneventful encounter. Here's a comment from police regarding the event. "We have not made any arrests at all. The crowd has been more than fine. They've been obeying what the fire marshal says in terms of building capacity. People have been coming in and out of the Capitol, exercising their constitutional rights. We've been perfectly fine with them. Just that one small incident." That one small incident being the collapse of the tent. As you can see, it's a pretty big tent. Supposedly people were on the inside of at least one of the tents, though thankfully no one was hurt. There was some violence on the day, though, and it's clearly seen in the video titled "Unions Assault on Camera," uploaded by Steven Crowder. This footage helped get...
Why would you just post that? Like, yo, this is embarrassing. I don't know. You better just hold that L, bro. Look at him gearing up to just serve you the best combo of your life. Don't brace for that shit, Steven. Why you brace it? Like, you started this shit. You go into a bunch of area where blue collars are passionate about what's being the rights are being taken from them, and you're provoking them. You don't expect this to happen? Running with Elephant, shout out to you for the $10 super chat. I appreciate you. Let's get the W in the chat because Running with Elephants is also a member. It says, man, both sides of the political spectrum need to clean shit up because this is getting out of hand. That's facts. All right. And listen, for the right, I blame the Tea Parties. All right. Y'all know the Tea Party movement when Obama became president, when that really got out of hand, right? Mitt Romney and them couldn't control it. Y'all remember that? Yeah, a lot of them went even. That's the start of right-wing radicalism. And to be fair, it's been that way for a while. But like that point right there, you can point to and say, yeah, you can start to see a lot of these right-wingers behave like a lot of these radical leftists. You start to see two sides of the exact same coin. It's just a different way of going about it.
Get Crowder a lot of attention, and the video currently sits at nearly 2 million views.
Well, look at him.
Before getting to the reaction and media storm around it, I do think it's important we include some very crucial context that was omitted from this original video. This was eventually uploaded to Steven Crowder's channel 1 week later, this video being titled "Unedited Union Assault Footage." It's a bit confusing when it's showing two angles of the same event at the same time, but in it we can clearly see that the worker was knocked to the ground before getting up and
saw
punching
that.
Crowder. Looking at
Yo,
just that
hold
footage, it's
up.
not entirely clear what's going on, though Crowder seemed to briefly have one hand on the guy before he went down. Whether that was enough to knock him.
Yeah, Crowder's guilty, bro. It looked like he put his hand on him. Yeah, cause it don't make any sense why dude just would start wailing on him. Like, that's crazy. So it looked like he put his hands on him.
Down, or if he just tripped over something and that made him fall over, I'll leave it to you to judge. But
Damn.
regardless, the guy did seem to think Steven Crowder was responsible for knocking him over, and his response wasn't just a sudden sucker punch, but rather was an act of self-defense from his perspective. The additional footage that was included is to provide additional context of Crowder having people yell at him, which I think is meant to create the impression that he was under threat of imminent violence. Of course, he wasn't actually targeted with imminent violence until someone believed that he had initiated a violent encounter himself. Also, this isn't Crowder releasing all of his footage. Some of this comes from another YouTube channel, one clearly sympathetic to him, that titled its video, Steven Crowder's attacker verbally attacks him an hour earlier. It makes this seem less like Steven Crowder trying to release all his footage to provide full context, and rather him trying to find footage that would make him appear as sympathetic as possible. More interesting than this actual event was Crowder's reception in right-wing media, where he made a number of appearances to talk about his brush with violence. Let's look at his appearance on Sean Hannity's program. It's here we can see Crowder really begin to embellish the story.
I literally believe, Sean, that if I'd have defended myself at all, even flicked a small little jab, that they would have killed me where I stood.
Crowder also mentioned some guy was threatening to shoot him with a gun.
Are we not addressing the fact that someone threatened to murder me with a gun on that tape too?
This is clearly not true when looking at the footage from another angle. The guy who shuts out this threat is screaming at someone off screen to the left, who isn't Steven Crowder in his leather jacket, clearly standing to the right. I don't think the threat was a good thing to yell out, of course, but it certainly wasn't directed at Steven Crowder. Something a lot of people forget about this whole altercation was that, in addition to trying to portray union members as thugs, Crowder was also very concerned with making sure everyone knew he was.
This is him. The whole reason of him being here, he's a political operative just to make union guys look bad. Y'all know how, like, during the George Floyd situation where we had protests and stuff, right? And there were people who came in and started riling things up, right? The protests were peaceful, and then there were just agents in there that came in, started riling up, and then before you know it, whipped up a bunch of people into a frenzy that couldn't be controlled. That's exactly what Steven Crowder is doing right here. So again, this is evidence, more evidence that wow. Y'all are just agents of destruction. So what is the truth, right? This all this stuff is just manufactured, bro. What is the actual truth? He's behaving as an agent here. He was sent here to go ahead and make these guys look like a bunch of aggressive assholes, right? Yeah, see, this is why you got to take down the unions. Republicans are right. We got to bust these unions because otherwise they'll make threats to shoot you and they'll beat you up for just peacefully protesting. This guy is sick. He's a disgusting individual, but yet he blames the left-wing media for doing this. Wow. TL Cole, shout out to you for the $2 super chat. Says, rewind, slow down, please. Oh, we're going to stop it right here. I don't want to play the full video. I just want to see him get that Wendy's two-piece. So after we're done with this, we're going to rewind, slow it down, all right? See that perfect, that perfect photo, all right? That photo of him just eating up that biscuit basket, okay? We're going to play that. But let's see this here.
Wasn't directed at Steven Crowder. Something a lot of people forget about this whole altercation was that, in addition to trying to portray union members as thugs, Crowder was also very concerned with making sure everyone knew he was a tough guy.
Listen, I'm under-rested, overworked right now, and still tough enough to take the union's greatest punch. Apparently, I'm not that hurt.
He really,
I took the punch with my face. You know what it reminds me of? Y'all remember that dude that was fighting Sneeko before he got the Bradley Martin? Y'all remember that dude? He was just sitting there, just eating them punches. Like, see, I'm eating them. It's like, yeah, I know. It looked like it hurt too. You need help? How many fingers am I holding up? Just like it's one. Yeah, that's him. I got pieced up, but I mean, I'm tough. I mean, I ate it though. I ate it. You see that? You see that combo? That Wendy two-piece? I ate that shit. Yeah. Hold the gravy. I don't need that shit. I ate it. Just like, what? How does that make you tough, bro? You dodge punches, not eat them. That's crazy. I don't care how big you are. You can only take enough of those.
He really wants you to know he's a tough guy.
You have a choice. You can come forward, I'll press charges, you'll go to jail, or since you wanted to cheap shot me, we can host a bout in a sanctioned, legalized MMA competition.
What was really important about this
Unreal! Unreal! You instigate something and then go around on the live on TV and then challenge him to a fight you know you're not going to participate in. Again, the guy you're even challenging to an MMA fight, he's like not even, oh my God, dude. He's not even in fight ready status. He literally was just wailing on you, dog. But like, come on, now you're just going to call out.
The interview was that this is where the longer footage of the incident first made its appearance. Upon noticing that, other outlets started raising concern over whether this controversy was meant.
Chat. Let me do this for TL Cole real quick. I'm gonna put the super chat up. TL Cole, this is for you. Hold up. Let me slow this down so y'all can see this two-piece bread basket my boy's getting delivered over here. Hold on. Let's rewind it. Let's rewind it now. Okay.
MMA competition.
What was really important about this Hannity interview was that this is where the longer footage of the incident first made its appearance. Upon noticing that, other outlets started raising concern over whether this controversy was manufactured, since the original clip omitted some very...
Hey, was that enough, TL Cole? You want to see one more? Okay, I'll give you one more. TL. I'll give you one more. Shout out to you. I appreciate it.
The guy who shut in Crowder at Crouch and ensure to know first made its appearance. Upon noticing that, other outlets started raising concern over whether this controversy was manufactured, since the original clip omitted some.
Yeah, dude was throwing them punches with intentions, man. Hold up. Yeah, I hope that satiated your thirst there. Okay, let's continue. God damn, bro.
Very important context.
Look at him.
Crowder also had an interview with the Wall Street Journal that had a few interesting sections. Crowder said he did not file a police report because he lives over an hour away. It was a timing thing. I had to get back and offload the footage. I also have no interest in or energy to devote to suing this person, even though that's what people want. Gregory S. McNeil, the author of this article, to his credit, asks why...
This is the guy he wants to challenge to an MMA fight, by the way. Yeah, Crowder, you're a pussy.
The footage was cut before the punch in the original video. This is Crowder's response. The camera pans away because the camera was jostled. The cameraman was shoved around too. A bunch of people were being shoved as the protesters tried to tear down the tent. A tent which wasn't their property. They were tearing down a tent with women and children in it. And the man who was coming at me, I think, tripped over the tent peg, fell towards me. And that's when I said, "You assaulted me." Right after that, he sucker punched me. My guess is that he was on his way down. He grabbed me and started shoving me. I followed up again asking Crowder about the events, leading to his statement, "You assaulted me," and whether it was possible the person, Tony, merely fell into him. Crowder stated, "At that point in time, they were shoving me. It had been shoving, with me saying, 'That's an assault,' and him getting up and hitting me."
Bro, you were right behind the guy, all right? If that camera wouldn't have panned, it almost kind of looked like you pushed him, bro. And honestly, you were just standing there after he fell. Maybe you didn't push him. Maybe you tripped him, right? Because you already, if you've seen that video, he had his hand up. Let's rewind it back. Hold up. Because he had his hand up right after the dude went down, right? Watch this, chat. Watch this. We're going to do this again. We're going to do this again. Hold up. He had his hand up while the guy was down, almost to say, "Oh, well, I saw you fall, but hey, listen, it wasn't me though." Right? Watch this.
Competition.
What was really important about this Hannity interview was that this is where
right up as the guy is falling down, he's putting his hands up. Watch. Let me slow down some more.
A competition.
What was really important about this Hannity interview was that
y'all saw that. Before the dude hit the ground, he's already had his hand up, but you saw that right hand go like this.
What was really important about this Hannity interview was that what was really important about this Hannity interview was that
whoever's hand is this right here, that's the guy that did it. And it doesn't look like it's Crowder's, because Crowder is seeing this happen. So either this guy behind, so it wasn't even him, but still.
This is where the longer footage of the incident first
he comes out, he turns around, he's like seeing this dude with his hands up. He's the only one with his hands up, so he said, "All right, you might as well just catch these strays."
Appearance.
Let's watch this.
Upon
Blam!
noticing that
Blam!
other outlets
Hold up,
started
we're not done.
raising concern over whether this controversy was manufactured.
He served that shit with a vengeance, bro. Hold up. That was satisfying. Okay, for all of them change my mind segments. Okay, my mind has definitely been changed today. My boy was definitely served up that combo piece, and it wasn't looking too good for Crowder. Listen, you could talk tough afterwards. Yeah, I'll challenge you to a fight, you cheap shot and dick. I'm sorry, dog. You taller than him. All right, you're more in shape than him because you go in the gym, Mr. Workout. You can defend yourself about these. Oh my God, y'all are just tough guys on the internet.
Since the original clip omitted some very important context.
In here, down a tent with women and children.
Well, some people in wheelchairs, by the way, in the tent.
But Crowder's claim that the workers he was confronting were taking down the tent is inaccurate. Here's a comment from Dr. Sandra Alcade from the Michigan Peace Team.
You picking a fight with him too? Hey, nah, bro. Hey, you want to talk about Wendy's? This is KFC right here, bro. They got oh my God. Man, dog, you not winning this one.
Present that day, I saw a union marshal trained in nonviolent response ask and receive help in lifting the edge of the fallen tent in order to fold up the table because we want to make sure no one trips and gets hurt. I saw another use a pocket knife to slit through the tent fabric because an AFP guy asked for help in looking for his computer, which had been on the table. They didn't find it. You can even hear one of the union workers in some of the footage from Crowder's channel. He's clearly saying, "Get everybody out of there now."
Get everybody out of there now.
And in the footage, you can see people being helped from the tent. While some workers certainly were responsible for helping collapse that tent, a number of them were also doing their best to ensure that no one got hurt. This isn't...
So Crowder was lying. He was lying just to promote an agenda to Fox News. So these are the kind of people we're supposed to respect as truth tellers. Let's finish this real quick.
An angry mob that was ready to tear Crowder limb from limb. We do see Crowder spring to action to confront the union worker cutting open a tent, quite possibly the one who was asked to cut open the tent by someone from Americans for Prosperity so he could find his computer. It's here where Crowder confronts the union workers with an unnamed man, and that's what immediately preceded the punch. Not quite the daring defense of the tent's integrity that Crowder makes it up.
The more I look at it, maybe it was Crowder that pushed him. Whose hand is that? Because I thought it was this guy, but he's already turned around. He's not even paying attention right now. So whose hand was that?
Not quite the...
Okay, maybe it's this guy.
Daring defense of the tent.
He moves. Nah, it was him. It was Steven. It was Steven. There was nobody else because the other two dudes that were right there weren't even paying attention to the guy.
And that's what immediately preceded the punch. Not quite the daring...
I thought it was this guy, but then there's no one else behind the dude because the dude is right behind this dude right here.
In defense of the tent's integrity.
Who did that? Nah, I listen. I tried to give Steven the benefit of the doubt, but even when I'm watching the full tape, and nobody else was paying attention but Steven. Yeah, that was him. He pushed him.
That Crowder makes it out to be. When Crowder went back on to Hannity the next night, Hannity's guest, Andy Sullivan, confronted him on how he used this footage.
And then he came up off his feet. Yeah, there he is. What is that, Steve?
He did go down. He was attacking a tent with women and children.
He was attacking.
So was that you that pushed him then, Steven? Is that you that pushed him? Is that you admitting that? What do you mean? Why are you justifying this? He wasn't the one cutting up the tent. He wasn't even near the tent.
In the tent, and what were you doing?
We were there
you
trying
deserve,
to prevent
listen,
people
Steve,
from being hurt in the tent.
You deserve what you got,
sir.
Damn. I'm with him. Yeah, I'm with him right here. You deserve it, bro.
Should note that Andy Sullivan made his name fighting against a mosque being built in New York City near the former site of the World Trade Center.
It was him. He did it. Steven Crowder pushed him.
I'm not sure he's the hero we really want, but he does provide a useful bit of pushback in this instance. It was after all this negative media attention that Crowder finally released the longer version of the video online, over a week after the original edited version went up. Crowder did eventually file a criminal complaint 2 days after the alleged assault, though a few months later, Ingham County prosecutor Stuart Dunnings III announced he was declining to press charges. Here's an excerpt from an article detailing that. It's pretty clear the person that they wanted to charge was acting in self-defense, Dunnings said of the union member who apparently slugged Crowder. Dunnings questions why Crowder didn't initially provide the original footage to Dunnings' office. I'm not holding that against him, but why would they provide the edited video? The longer video clearly shows the guy got pushed down and came up swinging, Dunnings
It's
said.
because Crowder can't help himself. He almost always has to sell a narrative.
That's the story of Steven Crowder getting punched in the face by a union worker. Towards the end of his tenure with Fox News, Crowder started working with Liberty Alliance to produce his YouTube content, Liberty Alliance being a conservative Christian publisher. This relationship didn't seem to last too long, as their logo only appeared in a few videos, including one where Crowder dressed up like Muhammad to make an anti-Islam joke.
Yeah, I'm done with that. Listen, I'm not. Listen, I can't believe I even just put that up there. Listen, bro. Look, that wasn't me. That was him. This man, Steven Crowder, is mad disrespectful, bro. Again, and what's crazy? A lot of conservatives right now are trying to court Muslims, right? They're trying to court Muslims and bring them into the conservative fold because Muslims agree with a lot of conservatives politically, but not on like a social level, right? Because conservatives, they don't like Muslims. Y'all remember that whole thing with Iraq and Bush and, you know, the whole Iran scare? Y'all remember that? Yeah, that's still going on. The conservatives, they're just placating to them, but you can see how easy it is for them to just outright disrespect other people's shit. Like, that's crazy to me. Dude, you dressed up as Muhammad? Yo, the disrespect. Myron went on a show. Myron calls himself a Muslim. All right. Listen, Myron, did Myron call him out on that? Or did Myron not know that my boy was dressing up here as Muhammad, which is a no-no? That's insane, bro. This guy, I'm sorry. I just wanted to see him get punched in the face with the 3-piece combo. And I've gotten my fill. I don't want to see like this guy. Again, this is the guy that's grifted into the space, okay? This is... Wow, bro. I can't believe he dressed up as Muhammad. That was a whole South Park thing, bro. Didn't South Park almost get, like, canceled for that shit? This dude is insane, bro. What? Yo, that's crazy, dog. Jay Harris, shout out to you for the $5 super chat. Shout out to Jay Harris too, by the way. Let's get a dub in the chat for Jay Harris. I'm seeing Jay Harris. He says, awesome dude, awesome show, Duke. Steven got a Mortal Kombat special. Get over here. That's what he did. Hold up. I'm sorry, chat. Let's pull that back for old time's sake. Hold up. I'm sorry, chat. We gotta pull that back for old time's sake. Okay, we gotta see the Scorpion.
Though a few months later, eventually, it was after all this negative media attention that Crowder finally released the longer version of the video online, over a week after the original edited version went up. Crowder did eventually file a criminal complaint 2 days after the alleged assault, though a few months...
He literally did do that. He did get your ass over here. That's crazy. He actually did that for real. Yo, this shit was a Mortal Kombat. That's crazy. Get over here.
Later, Ingham County prosecutor Stuart Dunnings.
Oh my God, that's crazy. That's crazy. Oh, more deep. Shout out to you for the $5 super chat. Oh, that's facts. More deep. You're Muslim too. He says conservatives aren't courting Muslims anymore. They're back to calling us animals and terrorists because of the Israel-Palestine conflict. Oh, that didn't last long. That did not last long at all. See, I told it's that quick. It's that quick. These conservatives, man, do not trust them, okay? The way they're treating y'all is how they treat black folks, okay? Hey, come on. Why don't you black folks vote conservative? I mean, look at the liberals. They're lying to you, okay? Vote red. Vote red this year. It's like, huh? Wait a minute. And then when we talk about the issues facing black folks, you tell us not to complain about it. Wait a minute. Why would we want to support a party that actively doesn't want us to air out our grievance? That's crazy, bro. Is that really free? I don't think we're all equal under your leadership, bro. Get me out of here. But it's the exact same thing. I'm not surprised. Actually, that was a quick turnaround too, because the whole Israel and Palestine conflict just happened. And the thing is, I'm not on either side here because it seems like the political eye is taking sides on this, which I don't think you should. I think it's something a little bit deeper than this. But I also think that listen, the severity of this is actually insane because again, people know the history. If you don't know, I mean, these two people have been going back and forth for a long time. I mean, this is something that's been like decades in the making since the encroachment and all that stuff like that, right? And there's been unfair treatment, all right, on both sides. So it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you are, you can't hide the realities of war. Kids, innocent men, women, children are caught in a crossfire, and they're the ones that suffered the most. Okay, and again, you see people who are celebrating. You got people on one hand like Andrew Tate talking about, yeah, go Hamas, yeah. absolutely Hamas. It's like, yeah, okay, but people are dying, right? Is that something you want to celebrate? Then you got Jordan Peterson. You get him, Israel. It's like, okay. Can we look a little deeper into this? Maybe this is more than what lets on, because why now? Like, why all of a sudden now would they launch an attack that, you know, it's just getting out of hand, right? And now you see we got pressures on Iran. There's just so many things going on right now. I don't think people really realize what this actually is, right? That's why I'm doing a video on it on my other channel, not on this channel. So y'all want to make sure y'all subscribe to that, because that video's coming out tomorrow after tomorrow's live stream. So I'm going to have that set up for y'all right there. So those of you guys that want to see the more serious side of things, okay, the more serious breakdown, not this clown for a lot of these conservative weirdos, go ahead and follow us on there, because the take is a little bit different. If you're expecting me to be on the side, I'm not. I'm just going to point out exactly what's going on and what you guys need to watch out for, okay? But I see a lot of channels, and some of them are just like they're getting their emotions too invested in this, and I really think you're this is nothing but a third front. Okay, not a third, a second front. Okay, the third front's gonna be in the South China Sea, so just keep that in mind. But again, chat, y'all, I'm not surprised. Muad'Dib, they're calling Muslims terrorists. Why are we not surprised? Again, a lot of this facade is just for votes. When they're saying, "Hey, Muslims, come over here," it's for votes. Okay, at the end of the day, they're just gonna end up hating you, because to them, you know, they feel as though they're better than you. All right, that's why I was always cringing. I was the first one telling y'all like this. Well, maybe I wasn't the first one, but I was out, especially on this channel, in this little orbit. I was out here screaming, "It's a trap! Don't follow these conservatives, because they're gonna do you how they did black folks, guaranteed, guaranteed, bro." All right, some of y'all will say, "Well, the liberals did it to you too," but hey, at least they pretend to care. Y'all conservatives just crazy. Y'all crazy, all right? But again, that's neither here nor there. Shout out to y'all for being here. Y'all could be anywhere in the world right now, but you're with Duke and Don. So the show is kind of over. But for my ones and twos people, all right, for those of you guys that like to get your voice heard, we got to cover this. I did tell you there was something important we got to talk about, right? And this is regarding the whole Rumble scenario that's going on, all right? Chat, we've revisited their Rumble stock price. We've seen their income and income statements, okay, or lack of income on their statement, okay. We've seen the severe botting of a lot of these views, right? Not only that, this all comes together with a nice bow of this massive recruitment that Rumble has been doing, particularly on the conservative side, right? Taking a lot of guys who we would consider YouTube rejects and then putting them on, you know, a platform like Rumble. Okay, now we're looking at Rumble on the back end. It's not looking too good. Okay, so my question is this, and I want you guys to answer honestly. All right, do you think Rumble is going to be a trap for a lot of these content creators who are trying to mass migrate to that platform on a massive scale, right? Because of maybe they're enticed by the view numbers or the fake view numbers, all right? Maybe they're enticed by the freedom of speech aspect of it. You let me know, because I see a future scenario where a lot of these red pillars and conservatives will grift their platform onto Rumble only for Rumble to collapse, because their finances and their position is not good. Okay, so let me know what y'all think. Put a 1 in the chat if you believe if Rumble collapse, that's it. These guys are just all hemmed in and trapped. Okay, or put a 2 if you think no, these conservative red pillars who are now jumping on the platform are actually going to revolutionize the platform and make it a safe space for conservative, and Rumble is going to just blow up beyond your wildest dreams. And this is an actual viewpoint by a lot of conservatives out there. Okay, so again, we might have some conservatives in the chat, we might have some non-conservatives in the chat. Okay, but this is the popular view by a lot of conservatives out there. They do believe that Rumble is going to be the future. I don't see it. I don't see it at all. Okay, but that's a legitimate view out there. So let me know. And you're not going to be wrong if you put a 2 if you believe that Rumble has a future. Okay, so I just need y'all to answer honestly. Put a 1 if these people are setting themselves up for a trap by going on Rumble, because that bitch about to collapse, like right on their heads. Or put a 2 if you believe no, Duke, come on. You got to be fair here. Rumble's blowing up. Come on. Did you not see what Myron said? Myron said it's blowing up. Even though their stock price is down, Rumble has a lot more viewership, Duke. You got to give them a chance. All right, listen. I don't know how you still think that after this episode we just played today, but all right, I'll let you have it. You got it, bro. You got it. You got it. Just put your answer in the chat, and I'm gonna catch. Oh shit, we got a super chat from Moore Deep. Shout out to you, Moore Deep, with the $5 super chat. He says Kick is handing out $1 million deals like candy. Possible show later on. Yeah, honestly, I want to do this now. Honestly, I'm getting, listen, and this is the thing, I don't, because listen, I like my, so what I'm gonna do, because it's inevitable that the Red Pill is gonna be ultra conservative. All right, it's gonna, especially next year, it's all gonna be politics here and there, right? Women shouldn't vote. Society's bad. Andrew Tate good. All this nonsense. You're gonna see that happening, right? So yeah, I can see that being on a possible show later on. It might, hell, bro. I've been rocking with you for a minute, bro. That might actually just be a show. We might actually make that a show. Why not? All right, like y'all don't leave. Like I'll be taking recommendations from y'all in the chat, especially some of y'all that are in the ones and twos, especially taking the time to vote. I pay attention to that, right? I see, shout out to LTTV, the Shaolin Milk. The Shaolin Milk. Y'all with these names, bro. But Eddie Longs, shout out to y'all, Terry Keith. I see y'all in here. Like, I appreciate that. Y'all, recommendations. Y'all let me know. I will take that. I'll take that in consideration, and you'll probably just see a video. Alicia, where's she at? I did a video about her, not about her, from her recommendation a while ago. So that was good. That was pretty interesting. But yeah, no, if Kick's faking views, we're gonna have to do that because Aiden Ross is the king of promoting Kick to a lot of these degenerates out here. So we got to cover that if that's a thing that's actually happening, and I believe it, right? Who knows? Maybe a lot of Rumble expenses are going towards giving these exorbitant amount of contracts that maybe they don't intend on following through. Right, because then when we hear these $7 million that we call it Sneako's getting, I don't know if he's getting that much. What was it? Fuzi said he was offering that from Kick, right? When they're mentioning all these multi-million-dollar contracts, are they actually getting paid like a lump sum of that amount up front? Because when they say that, it seems like they're making it seem as though they're getting a lump sum of $50 million, right? Aiden Ross, $180 million or $150 million. He's not getting all that in one go. So I'm assuming there's probably like millions of dollars in advance that they're giving to these content creators while giving them like a monthly payment of like a higher dollar amount, which is adding to the expense because there's no way. But either way, they're losing money. They're losing a fuck ton of money with this strategy. That's why I think it resembles Netflix, because Netflix does that shit a lot, where they spend a shit ton of money on their original series, even though it's shit now, a lot of it. But they'll spend a shit ton of money and make money on the back end because it's their shit. But again, I don't know. Terry Kid, shout out to you for the $10 super chat. It says, just for hollering at me. No, shout out to you. I pay attention to the chat. I know sometimes I'm distracted, because I've been getting on with the show. But when the show slows down, I'll be paying attention. But shout out to you. I appreciate you, Terry. I appreciate, like, when I mean that for, like, I'm serious. When I say y'all could literally be anywhere in the world right now, but you choose to spend it with me, I appreciate that. I don't take that for granted. Like, y'all will never see me take that shit for granted, bro. I value every view, even if it's from a troll, right? The fact that you spent your time here, it tells me a lot more about you than it does about me. So thank you for being here either way. But no, I appreciate that. Everybody in the chat, I appreciate it. But shout out to you. You'll never see me on Rumble. That's why we're going to follow the rules on YouTube. You ain't going to see me on Rumble. You ain't going to see me end up with these rejects over here, bottom views. Like, what? That's crazy. But chat, I'm going to catch you guys on the next one. I appreciate y'all being here.